Hello, friends. You're now listening to the lifestyle, leisure, and sports show you never knew was two of those things.
I think we can all acknowledge that if this fails, you two will be fired and I will remain. So, no pressure.
Bo Bishop, a regional media icon, winner of Emmys, purveyor of the good life.
Sir, you don't know that for a fact.
I just said it on the radio.
Also, two guys this company named Employee of the Month.
What are you talking about?
Paul Hogan is Hulk Hogan's brother. Look it up.
Because it's Hulk Hogan. That's his real name.
One guy is from Australia. The other one is from Tampa.
You mean he's from Hollywood, brother?
Not brothers. Chops.
Yes, they are.
This is Bishop and Friends.
Oh, baby, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Reese is here. Bake is here. It's a First Friday, so you got your officially endorsed coming up. It is a Hey Guys First Friday. We moved that up to 10 o'clock to accommodate 20 most interesting programs. The Penn State Nittany Lions coming up at 11 o'clock. They are unrivaled, but how important is it for James Franklin to actually take advantage of getting a quarterback that might have been a lot better than some of us realized a year ago with Drew Aller? Jake Trotter going to join us at 10:33. Buckeye camp starts tomorrow. There's a 68% chance I've been hacked. It's a morning, kids. It's good to be back. I did want to start here. As a kid, there were few things that I shouldn't say few things. There were quite a great many things that our family would sit around and watch as a family. Most of them were sporting events. Most of them took place at night. In the summer, it was rare because that's working season. But the one thing that we would sit down and watch as a family was the Olympics. And I remember my first memory of it was 84 when I was very, very young in the Olympics in Los Angeles. I remember Seoul in 88 very well. I remember Barcelona in 92 very, very well. Atlanta in 96. There were some Winter Olympics as well, but it was the summer ones that certainly captured our attention most. And that was in an era for the kids out there where when it was on television was the first time you would see it. The only other way, especially in those early years in the late 80s and early 90s, where you would have a chance for something to be ruined was on the radio or on the television. And usually the sports guy, and even when I first got into the business in television 25 years ago, we would say, like, okay, we're about to tell you what happened at the Olympics. If you don't want to know, then now would be a time to either turn the channel or mute us. And they would do the same thing with radio updates, like Bake just did there, where they would give an update on what happened in the Olympics. But it was almost like with the notion of, hey, if you don't want to know what happened, just turn your radio down for 30 seconds, and then you can turn it back up and you're fine. Now it's really hard to avoid it, right? It's hard for things not to get ruined. You get notifications, whether it's from a news service that you get or on any of the social apps. Text. People will text you, hey, did you see this? These type of things. It's very hard to avoid it. But through the first 5 or 6 days of the Olympics, my family did. And whether we were in Maine or in Massachusetts or last night back here at home, we were able to avoid it. And the kids were locked in. My wife was locked in for 3 hours. Like, it's appointment viewing. Like at 8 o'clock, you turn it on and then it's on and you watch it straight through. Now, because of what we do, it's hard for me to avoid the spoilers of it. But I tried to. And I told my wife, I said, now that I'm back and doing the shows every day from here on out until the Buckeyes quit playing football.
At 10 o'clock.
That's right. At 10 o'clock.
10 to noon,
she misses the first
friends.
hour. She missed the first hour still, Reese. Even now, she's like, what are you doing now? I continue to do the show at 9 now. That only was the first year when we did it for 2 hours. It's going to be hard for me to avoid it. But as it turns out, and one other thing on this, like, I cannot believe how much my kids are into it. Like, for those of you who have kids out there aren't many things that a 12, 10, and 8-year-old, like, all enthusiastically chase. Fortnite and the NCAA football game seem to be the two. Well, add the Olympics, because they don't blink, man. They're not looking for another screen. They're bouncing on TV. They're bouncing on couches watching this stuff. And as it turns out, we're not alone. These things are the Olympics are a wild success. 32 million viewers for the Olympics on Saturday, up 83% from Tokyo, 41.5 on Sunday million that NBC drew, up 50% from Tokyo. Some of that, I think, is the time change. Like 6 hours is a little more tenable, Reese. Don't you think that has something to do with it?
When you're up in the morning and there's Olympic coverage.
Yeah. I think that's some of it. And I think the other part of it is the Tokyo Games that's COVID. And remember, like, we were all kind of in a different space at that time. The Tokyo Olympics, didn't they happen in 2021? I don't even think they happened in 2020, if memory serves. I think it's been 3 years. That sounds right. It
was the 2020 Olympics in 2021 with nobody there.
No one there. It was sterile, and so no one saw it. And even those first sports that came back, whether it was everything except the NFL, but NBA when it first came back, and when a lot of those things first came back, it was a tepid response to it because we weren't used to watching our sports, and then eventually grew back to what it is. But this has been a wild success and wildly entertaining. Last night with the gymnasts was wildly entertaining. The swimming stuff, I'm in. And we got track and field yet to come, which is the lead, which is obviously the headliner of it. Are you guys locked in at Olympic fever?
I would say, I don't know about fever. There's interest, and it helps to have Peacock to where if in the middle of the day, I've been moving for the past week, so I'm interested in nothing but work and moving things. So it caught me at a bad time. I'll tell you one, this Summer Olympics. Thanks a lot, Paris.
The best thing about moving is it forces you to throw away a bunch of stuff you otherwise wouldn't.
I would have, going into the move, taken so much pride in the thought that I don't have a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Every load to the car, every load to the truck, I'm like, I got too much bleep. I got too much bleep. I got to throw this out.
Yeah. We had like 6 moves in 3 years, and it was, by the time we were done, we're like, these are the essentials. Everything else is gone. Because you just get sick of packing. You know, just throw it in the dumpster. Like, I'm done. Bake, you got Olympic fever?
Not one bit. I haven't watched any of it if it wasn't on in here at the station.
Nothing has piqued your interest.
I did go back and watch the opening ceremonies.
Yeah.
And so having Peacock helps if there's something that I missed that I know I've got to see. And then if there is any downtime, I can just flip that on and see, all right, what's interesting? Like rugby sevens that I didn't know what had happened yesterday with the United States and Australia until I was just like, all right, I got 20 minutes. Let's try some women's rugby. And that was a good choice out of me.
One of the great kind of walk-offs. I think that's a try is what it was for my rugby friends. I believe that's a walk-off try that she won it with. I think that they've been great to this point. The patriotism is there. I missed the kerfuffle about the opening ceremonies. I missed that. We were watching that. I saw some of it, but we were in Maine, so I wasn't paying that close of attention to everything that was going on there. Neither were the children.
It's probably for the best.
It seems like Beyonce had a night, though, right? For us, like Team USA, like she was throwing about 110. It seems to be the consensus.
She's timeless.
It seems like it. Feels like she hasn't aged.
It's accurate.
25 years. She looks exactly the same as she did 20. She's got to be. She's my age. She's got to be woman. She's 40. She's got to be in her 40s. Has to be at this point. But no. So that's been an absolute hit. The trip was a hit. We were in Maine for a couple of days, and we did something with Brenton's Charters, Captain Phil, my guy. We were out of Cape Nettic kind of area there, just south of Kennebunkport, and he took us out. We did a 2-hour. The sea was restless that day, my friends. It was a little rough, and my wife was a little green in the gills as soon as we started. And Beamsy was having none of it right away. Like, he was miserable the whole time. But I'm like, look, we're doing it. We're in Maine. We're going to go fishing. We're going to go lobstering. Let's go knock this thing out. So let's go have our best chance ever. And in 2 hours, Captain Phil got us to, we caught like a 29-inch bass. And then we got 4 lobsters that were all of a size that you could take home. And then we did like a catch and cook thing with the place we were staying. So everything we caught, we ate that night, which was really, really cool. And he also took us by one thing. I've always been kind of enamored or curious or just intrigued by the Bush family and all of that. And so he took us right by like their compound on Kennebunkport. And one of the cool things is when W is there, he flies a Texas flag. So he's there. And so the Texas flag was flying. I thought that was awesome. Like,
did you or one of the kids throw horns down?
Yeah, I should have.
Though I think they're SMU.
Well, I think he's Harvard, isn't he? or Yale.
Yeah,
his dad played baseball at Yale. Yeah, his dad played baseball at Yale. I do remember HW, who was like.
But like their Texas fandom, I think, does reside with your ponies.
I'm sure. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, my beloved ponies. So we actually played, and then to finish that story, we went and ate, and let's just say Bootsy did not take to lobster. Like, it did not go well. He did not like it at all. It was really incredible, but he was not a fan of that. There's a cool little golf course called Cape Arundel, which was HW's like golf course. And when you walk into it, it just has the number 41 because he was the 41st president. So it just has that like on the side of the thing. And it was short, like it was less than 6,000 yards. But that was really cool. And then the last thing I'll say, and there'll be other stories as we go along, but the last thing I'll say was I was floored at Boston and how alive it was. So we were there it ended up being like Saturday evening and then Sunday, and you would have thought that they were having a festival. And I said to the guy at the hotel, he was just, the streets are just streaming with people everywhere. Absolutely crazy. And as we're sitting there, I asked the guy at the hotel, I'm like, is there some sort of festival going on? He's like, no, this is just how summer is here. And I thought that's a great job out of them. Like, it was more alive than any big city. Very similar to Chicago on the lakefront. Like, that type of vibe to it was really cool. And the kids kind of took to the history of it. And aside from getting hacked at MIT, that was, I think, a success. And I'm pretty sure I have been hacked as well. So other than that, that was a success. We had the baseball trade deadline. Reese, you got 45 seconds on the Guards. Bake, give me 45 seconds on the Reds. How are we?
Okay. Guardians got a farm arm, and he couldn't play at the beginning of the season because of a hip injury, and then he injured his shoulder. He's 36, so he'll make a rehab start in Columbus sometime in the next week, and I'll let you know then if it was a good enough deadline.
Best record in baseball, right?
Second best still. Phillies are still with the best record, but that weekend was really good by the Guardians, taking 2 or 3 in Philadelphia.
Disappointed that the Reds didn't sell off more bullpen pieces. I thought they should have. I thought there should be less guys on the roster now than there were yesterday.
They didn't sell. You wanted them to be sellers?
Yeah, just the guys that aren't part of the future, the free agents after this year. Just get rid of them, even if it's for a bag of balls.
It seemed like the Dodgers had a nice day, but they kind of had a nice decade other than just winning the one title.
Shocking.
Yeah. Infinite money helps with that. The Yankees and Red Sox were playing at Fenway when we were there Saturday night and Sunday, and that was something really cool to see because it very much felt like kind of like a big-time football weekend. Like the amount of Yankee fans who came to Boston, I mean, they were everywhere. Judge everywhere. Yankees suck everywhere. Like it was kind of cool to be in a city where there aren't probably many of them left, where that is still as critical as it is in that part. And I don't think the Red Sox are in it at all. Are they? They're well out. But you wouldn't know it by the feeling around town.
They got a shot. They're 2 back of the wild card in the American League. So.
Yeah, they were locked in. I mean, you would have thought it was like ALCS. The way that city was kind of rolling for it. Obviously, everything is happening on the football side of things. NFL camps are rolling. The Browns are down at the Greenbrier. The Bengals are going as well. We got contract negotiations that are trying to be worked through. And Mike Vrabel speaks for the first time since being a part of this Cleveland staff. What is he hoping to get out of it? What are they hoping to get out of him? Buckeyes start tomorrow. Obviously, we're loaded up. We're off and running. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to columbusmensclinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. columbusmensclinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Hi, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Need a perfect gift? Check out the new line of Glock watches and other stunning jewelry at Worthington Jewelers. Make every occasion sparkle with Worthington Jewelers, where exceptional gifts await.
FC Series presents Premier League giants Manchester City versus Chelsea. Don't miss the chance to see these great teams live at Ohio Stadium. Get your tickets now at fcseries.com.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hey, Buckeye fans, ready for the chance to win one of 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences? As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. We're talking tickets, sideline passes, a trip for two to the Oregon game, and exclusive access to the Ryan Day Coaches Show. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 winners. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spending the money to replace our home's windows is rarely something we get excited about. We usually do it because our energy bills suck or our current windows, well, they're too messed up. But in working with the local Pella Columbus team, my eyes have been opened. New windows can legitimately change the entire look of your home. They've got windows and colors and styles like I've never seen, and they can change everything. So go see my friends at PellaColumbus.com or check them out at their brand new Polaris showroom.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Have you lost Ohio Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunny today. Temperatures start off in the 70s, climbing up to about 94 for the high. Showers and thunderstorms late this evening. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at another sunny and hot day with temperatures around 92. There could be a few more showers out there tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with a look at your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
NFL camp is here. We have a Hall of Fame game tomorrow, guys. The Hall of Fame game is tomorrow. We're here. Camps have been happening. The big Buckeye camp starts tomorrow. We will be there live. We'll have more on that coming up in about 13 minutes. In terms of the Browns and the Bengals, the Browns down at the Greenbrier, pretty newsy first few days for them in terms of some of the injuries that are out there. Greg Newsome waiting on the 2 tackles, still obviously a very, very big deal for them as they're trying to get those guys healthy. Some of the some of the comments from Deshaun Watson have garnered national attention. I saw it in The Athletic and the New York Times with Jason Lloyd, and then again with USA Today and Mike Freeman writing about Watson's comments. This is going to be a very big year for him, just headspace-wise. And I do think that the tone that he has chosen to kind of handle this reminds me very much of LeBron when he first went to Miami, and in the notion of, like, how do you handle being a villain when you're so used to being a hero? And Watson's now going on year 3 of being a villain, really probably year 4, because he sat out that last year in Houston as well over the contract. And so, that you're talking about 4 years where you've been viewed in a negative light to the point where it almost becomes who you are. And then how do you compartmentalize that and play where up until that point you're universally praised and beloved? And he was. I mean, he's one of the most popular college football players of all time. He was ultra popular when he was early on in his career in Houston. And now he's certainly a villain role. And I think it probably is true that part of the reason that they could not bring Joe Flacco back is because that was not going to be a tenable situation for Watson. Because the first time he threw a pick, they were going to chant Flacco. Flacco became more popular in a month than any Browns quarterback since Baker on that Thursday night against the Jets when he came in as a rookie. So you could not run that back with an effort of trying to build up Deshaun Watson. All the reports I'm getting from down there is that he looks relatively good. But, again, none of that really matters until you get to games that actually do matter in September. I don't know how long they will keep this Greenbrier thing up. I think they love the team-building aspect of it. I know the players love it. But you have to change your calendar kind of daily based on weather because there is no indoor facility down there. So a couple of days ago, they had to practice at 8:30 in the morning. Yesterday's practice was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Normally, they're at 11, all in an effort to try to just get practice in because it's been raining down there a lot. In the midst of all of this, you see these images that if it doesn't make you smile, I can't help you, of Mike Vrabel acting like a little kid, running in sprints and doing all of the things Mike Vrabel does. So Mike's been around all summer. He's been around. He was there through the draft, there through the combine. He has not previously spoken publicly about his role with the Browns. It seems like he's a little bit of Costanza, like assistant to the traveling secretary. But he's around, and he's jumping in on practices. I've seen him jump in special teams rooms. I've seen him jump in on defensive line. He's doing some tight ends. So he's doing all sorts of things with the team. Yesterday, he was finally made available, and he talked on myriad subjects. Let's start with how he's enjoying his time in Cleveland so far.
It's been amazing to be able to get back on the field and coach and try to help where I can, and most importantly, learn. Be a part of a great staff with some really great veteran coaches, with some really great young and up-and-coming coaches. So wherever I can help, I'm more than willing to try to do that. I have a lot of respect for this organization, what Jimmy and Dee have done. I have a ton of respect for Andrew and Kevin and what they've been able to do in a short amount of time. I trust them. I trust them that they would do right by me and that they would help me and that the position and the fit would be beneficial to everybody.
So that begs the question, how did this all end up happening? Here's Mike on that.
Certainly wanted to take every opportunity and talk to everybody that called, and had some great interviews, met with some great organizations. They decided to go in a different direction, which happens sometimes. And then was able to hear from Andrew and Kevin and keep those conversations going. Met at the combine and visited and talked and got to know their staff. I mean, there's a lot of great people here. They've hired great people, and they empower them to do their job. They give them ownership from a personnel perspective, from an analytics perspective, from a player development perspective, and then ultimately a coaching perspective.
So that's how it happened. The question becomes, how long does this become the arrangement? And then what's the end game for Mike? Well, first of all, I would just say that this is a tremendous win for the Browns to have this type of leader, he's just a culture tornado when he comes into a place, and to have him bouncing around is infectious. You see it with him, these images of him sprinting and racing Jameis Winston, all these other things. So what the Browns get out of this is kind of a no-brainer. What Mike gets out of it, I think, is pretty straightforward as well, and he was asked yesterday if job one is trying to be a head coach again. Here's what he had to say.
Sure. At the right time. I think, there's a time and place for that. It's not going to be anytime soon. So I think that things that I'll ultimately learn here may help me the next time that, I get an opportunity to have one of those interviews. Focused on doing that and learning here and helping. And then, if those opportunities present themselves after the season, then I'll absolutely try to do that.
All right, pop quiz. What undid him in Tennessee? I think there were two things. Two things undid him in Tennessee because it felt like he was going to be there for another decade. His affection for the Patriots. One, I think that's very real. I think when he was inducted into the Patriots Ring of Honor, look, that Adam Schrunk ownership in Tennessee is as petty as can be. And if you don't believe me, ask the Houston Texans, who just wanted to have one light blue uniform, and they were not allowed. That's how petty that ownership is. So I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it for Mike was he was undone by the general manager. I mean, they traded A.J. Brown, and they told him they were getting his replacement, and they didn't. And he was undercut by some of the decisions that they made in the draft. Think Malik Willis. So I think for Vrabel's standpoint, this is kind of straightforward. He gets to go home. I mean, he's a Northeast Ohio guy. He went to high school at Walsh Jesuit before he was a standout Buckeye. So he gets to go home. He gets to be around the team of his youth. And most especially, he gets to see how and Reese, it's going to be hard for you to take, but how a very well-run organization is run. But that's what the Browns are now. They have lockstep. They all row in the same direction. The general manager, the head coach, all the way up to Paul DePodesta and ownership, they all view this the same way. So you have true synergy in the operation, which is something he did not have in Tennessee. So I think what he's getting is a firsthand look at when I do this again and when I get a second chance, I need it to be set up like this. And so that I have a general manager who views things the way I view things, which was probably as big a part of his undoing as his affection for the Patriots was in Tennessee. It's kind of bonkers that in 2024, a tenured, a well-respected coach in the NFL leaves dysfunction and seeks out the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. But I agree with you completely. That's where we are right now. In Tennessee, there's a lot of dysfunction. Right now with Cleveland in that front office, everybody's trying to do the same thing. They're all on each other's sides. There's no undercutting. Nobody's got to worry about a video coming out that's edited by someone's parent. No. This all seems to be going in the right direction. And that is incredible for me that someone like Mike Vrabel is very interested in just going and being a part of it. Like, are they paying him anything? Minimally. Yeah. I'm sure does he need the money? No. But he's a guy that when you think of who out there could take over the Cowboys if and when that goes wrong, or who could take over whichever other coach or other organization has their head man with heat on the seat, Mike Vrabel's call one. Yeah, he's on him and Belichick, and that Belichick is Mike could coach anywhere. Every job he'll be the headliner for that job. But that speaks to it. It's a credit to how far they've come as an organization. I think the best example of this, guys, is this was Kevin Stefanski's. He was a big part of this. Think about it. He did not have a contract extension when they brought Mike in. He basically, for the second straight year, hired someone who's capable of being his replacement if it doesn't go well. Schwartz last year, Vrabel this year. If it didn't go well for Kevin, he could be fired, and they have the replacement right there. But he is so comfortable in his situation that he was willing to bring him in. I know we're up against it. Kevin likes messing with the media, right? It's a game for him. Oh, I think he enjoys it. Okay. I think that's a byproduct Which is good. Of it. Which is good. I think they looked at this was a way to get the football team better, but it's a byproduct of and of course, and the play calling. He's having fun with it. I think he is. Yeah, and Vrabel looming down 71 South, right? Because that's always there as well. And speaking of that starts tomorrow. What we will be looking for on day one of Buckeye Camp when we broadcast live. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan.
BreezeLine's fiber-powered 1 gig home internet for $49.99 per month offers the reliability you deserve and security you can trust. With a price lock guarantee, no contracts, and free equipment, you'll never have to think about your internet again. This deal gets even better with a $100 gift card. And now you can bundle and save when you add BreezeLine Mobile with plans starting as low as $12.50 per month per line. Act now. Terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer. Learn more at breezeline.com.
Driving plays a big part in driving the local economy. It helps us all get where we're going and creates good jobs close to home. At Synovus Energy, our refineries in Toledo and Lima are a reliable domestic source of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Plus, more than 2,300 employees and contractors work for us here in Ohio. See how we're helping local communities move forward at Synovus.com.
You never know if the person next to you in line is a McMuffin, a McGriddles, biscuit, or burrito person. But what you do know is that every last one of us in line for our McDonald's breakfast this morning were brave enough to get out of bed a few minutes early.
Right now, get a $2 breakfast sandwich like a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or sausage McMuffin with egg, only in the app. Offer valid one time per day from 7/29 to 9/1/24. Participating McDonald's must opt into rewards.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. I was in my Lexus the other day. It was hot as hell, but I was so thankful for my ventilated seats. I'm not saying that's why you should buy one. It's just very nice. Right now at Jermaine Lexus, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales Event with lease payments as low as $499 a month and 3.99% financing on select models. Get this, the RZ is 0%. I have been a Jermaine customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Jermaine Lexus, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
The Fan is your home for the Dallas Cowboys.
No, we're not. You can't say that. Take two.
The Fan is your home of the Buckeyes. Yes, that's right. Same thing, but more playoff success. Now give Big Voice Guy another brandy. Thank you. The Fan.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey guys, it's summer and time to do more outdoors, but do you feel out of energy, lacking motivation and mental focus? It could be low testosterone. Low T affects millions of men and happens naturally. The solution? Testosterone replacement therapy at Low T Center. It starts with a quick test and results are fast. Don't wait. Take control of your health. And now, Low T Center is offering a free initial test. So if you're over 30, schedule a visit at lowtcenter.com today. Offer till July 31st. That's lowtcenter.com. Terms and conditions apply.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards golf lessons to become a scratch golfer. Progressive cannot guarantee that you will ever become a scratch golfer. Scratch golfers are really, really good. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, and sure, you could put that money towards lessons, but if you can't hit the broadside of a barn and think you're going to become a scratch golfer, you're delusional. Sorry, just telling it like it is. Savings? Maybe. Scratch golfer? Don't hold your breath. Switch and see if you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. It's universally accepted that golf is hard. Progressive cannot guarantee improved performance on the course.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Well, here's what's up on a First Friday Miracle Edition. Tomorrow, the calendar flips to August, and with it, the Buckeyes hit the practice field. We will be broadcasting their live morning juice as well as the Buckeyes kick off this 2024 campaign in earnest tomorrow. And what will be a season unlike few we have ever seen, where expectations have been met with, let's just call it what it is. This is an all-in season. That's what it is. This was an off-season that was an all-in off-season. It is a season that's an all-in season. I don't have a point of reference for it in my time around the program in terms of the combination of talent, motivation, go get you everything you want, plus pressure. And the pressure comes with what has happened in the rivalry game the last 3 years. Go ahead, Reese.
You talk about talent. Have you or your kids tried to play EA's College Football 2025 online with Quinshon Judkins? And is the spin move as lethal as the internet's making it seem?
No, I don't.
Did you see the scuttlebutt about it, though?
No, I missed it. I was largely unplugged, so I did not see it. So what happened?
So online servers and online like Twitch, like they will ask you to not play as Ohio State, or they will say you have to have your opponent agree that you can play as Ohio State before we'll let you do this because of how unfair the spin move by Quinshon is. It's like a perfect move to play. It's like Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl, where people rage quit and they just will not play against, or they will not play as Ohio State because it's just not fun.
So we started, me and the boys started a season, a dynasty with Ohio State. I talked about that before we went on vacation, and we went to overtime and beat Nebraska. And I mentioned that, still undefeated, and I mentioned that Quinshon was superior to Travion in the game. Like, he was better, for sure. I have not tried a spin move because in the old game, the spin move was nothing. It sucked. So I guess I need to try it. He's been, in that season, if memory serves, both him and Travion are banged up. So I remember
right there.
Peoples was in. I had to beat Penn State. Like, I had to run like Wildcat with Devin Brown was what we were doing because I had no running backs left. They were all beaten up. Which gets back to the bigger arching theme, which is practice starts tomorrow. Where will our attention be? Obviously, it will be on quarterback primarily. Ryan Day knows this. He knows that for the next few practices all the way, and you're going to be there on Saturday with the Sports Spectacular, Reese, and then they'll be there on Sunday as well. So for those 4 practices, Ryan Day is aware that all eyes will be on that position, and yet I am still fascinated how he manages it. Because if you look at whether it's the various betting sites or if you look at the video game, it is very clear that most people believe Will Howard is going to be the starting quarterback at Ohio State. But that is not the way that it was handled in spring. It was very much Devin Brown got the first team reps first. So how do they manage that here in the first 4 days of camp? And then how quickly, when we had Ryan in studio in June, one of the last things I asked him was, like, you're going to have to go with one of these guys at some point. Like, I don't think they want this carrying into the season as it did a year ago. I think that whoever the quarterback is needs to get the lion's share of the reps. And if it is Howard, then he most especially needs to get the lion's share of the reps. But honestly, for anybody, that would be the case. This is a new offense. It is the Ryan Day offense, but Chip Kelly's the trigger man for it now. So they need to get some things sorted out, and that sorting out starts tomorrow, and it starts at that position first.
I was hoping that between one of the first 3 or 4 days, because we'll be out there Sunday too, I think it's Tito and Dane Sanzenbacher for the Sunday extravaganza. They're not going to be putting the pads on, so I wonder if we can send out a Raven that would get us some paddage Friday, Saturday, and or Sunday. But because nobody's done this before at Ohio, involved with Ohio State. If you have been for at least the past couple of years, or at college football as a whole, you have not done anything quite like what's going to happen tomorrow. You've not done training camp that's an NFL style, that's open to the fans. Fans have not been able to see this kind of access from camp. Coaches have not been able or have not done practice that's open to everybody, except maybe like the Big Ten Network when they come around and do like 1 day of camp.
Sure.
So this is for everybody, brand spanking new tomorrow morning.
This is you hit it. And you remember this from your time up in Cleveland. Like when the Browns have camp, then all the radio stations go to Browns camp and they do their shows from there and they observe all of it. And there's fans and there's all sorts of people there. And I'd often wondered, I've mentioned this before on the show, I don't understand why college football hasn't done this already. I know why, because the coaches are so secretive and they're worried about stuff being stolen and worried about information getting let out. But like, the NFL is more secretive than anything, and the NFL's been having open camps forever. and it doesn't affect them any. You don't have to put in your wrinkles, your game plan wrinkles, but it doesn't hurt anybody to have people watch practice. And Ohio State's going to turn a little profit on this with the charges that they're doing for people to be able to take it in, and that'll go to NIL. So that's a win-win for everybody. They could have charged more, and they could have let a lot more people in, and it would have been a win. This is going nowhere. This will be here to stay, this type of effort where you're getting a chance to be there. And you're right, we haven't. The Big Ten Network has that one day when they come in and then they let you be around there, but that's it. That's it. All the rest of it is behind closed doors. It's been that way since I've been here in 2007. In terms of early on in my time, 2001 at Florida State, they had open practices where the media could watch any practice they wanted, and we could even shoot scrimmages there where we could show them on the local news during the course of camp. But that went away. I remember it was a Miami game, and they thought that some of the secrets were given away. Bowden thought some of the secrets were given away on a message board. But hell, we were going to practices during game week in season. Media was allowed. So that's how far it. And I remember when I first moved up here in 2007, it was like, wait, we can't go to practice? None of them? No, it's all closed. It was all closed at that point. So, look, this is. I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine who's in the social media sports world, and we were talking about, the growing nature of the NFL, and then college football is a very, very close second. Or rather, the distance between college football and what's third is getting bigger and bigger. And one of the things that I said is that college football is inching closer ever so slightly by the day to the NFL, to a true feeder system of the NFL. Eventually, you're going to have contracts, you're going to have negotiated CBAs and all of those things, because that's the only way to really control the sport. So this is just another example of it. And I think what college football is finally seeing, and we dealt with it all off season, is when you're finally able to acknowledge what you are, the money really starts to flow. There's a lot of money out there when you could say, hey, how much would you like us to go get a 5-star safety from Alabama in the transfer window? Well, quite a lot. Quite honestly, we would. How much would you like us to get the number one quarterback in the country who was previously committed to Alabama? Well, quite a lot. How much do we need? How can we make on NIL? Well, let's open some practices.
It helps they're embracing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think with what you're going to see over the next couple of days, then what happens, and just as like with any experience, it's like with the Columbus Zoo, like with Zambezi Bay, they go, how do we make the experience better so that more people attend next year? How do we get more money rolling into this from year 1 to year 2, then year 3 to the year 4?
I just hope they don't. I hope they just own it. Just own who you are. We're going to have Ross Bjork on Friday, and I'll ask him that. Because I know that there are some that bristle at the notion of Ohio State is now all in. Ohio State's never been this all in football. People go, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, it's all above board now. We can spend whatever we want to get whatever we want, whenever we want to get them. The pocketbook is wide open. So they've never approached anything like this. This is different than what it's been previously. And I think lean into it. Own who you are. Own that you're the big bad behemoth in the North. Own all of those things going forward. So I can't wait. I can't wait to be there tomorrow. I can't wait to see it. I'm fascinated to see how they do the quarterbacks. I know that there won't be pads, but you can still pay attention to who lines up where. And certainly if there is change by the time you do your show Saturday, Reese, or by the time that show comes on Sunday, where are those depth charts? How do they work out? Who's first in reps? You pay attention to all of those things and try to form your own opinion. I'm fascinated to see what Jeremiah Smith looks like without pads on, just running around. Does he have kind of the look that you're looking for there? So this is going to be fascinating, and this camp is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen, leading into a season, quite frankly, that's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. Speaking of something we've always seen, Notre Dame always plays USC, but is that always going to be the case? Or is USC, and in conjunction, the Big Ten, finally going to put the power play on the Irish? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
FC Series presents Premier League giants Manchester City versus Chelsea. Don't miss the chance to see these great teams live at Ohio Stadium. Get your tickets now at fcseries.com.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $229 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our best value guarantee and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. We're dealing.
With approved credit, 2024 Sentra SR FWD 24-month lease with 3,000 due at signing and 73124.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. Mary Haven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And The Fan is now on YouTube. Watch your favorite shows live. Check out the videos, YouTube Shorts. And how do you find us? You head to YouTube and search 971 The Fan. And don't forget to subscribe to The Fan's new YouTube channel. You will find us there, and you will find us tomorrow at Ohio State Camp. One of the things that I have said for the longest time about Big Ten expansion, and really SEC expansion as well, is the last white whale is Notre Dame. They're the last ones out there. The SEC would take them. The Big Ten would take them and probably covets them. They still have tremendous value despite the fact that they haven't won a national title since 88, haven't as a Heisman winner since 87. They've been to the dance twice, played for national title, played in the playoff, and they are still a monster revenue generator and a hell of a TV show. But there is some possibility, and the thing that I've always said is the only way that you could force Notre Dame into the Big Ten is to quite frankly say to them very plainly, we aren't going to play you anymore. And by we mean all of us. You're not playing Michigan. You're not playing Michigan State. You're not playing Purdue. You're not playing Ohio State. And now you're not playing USC either. So this was new Notre Dame athletic director Pete Bavacqua had this to say yesterday. We have every intention in the world and every desire to keep that USC-Notre Dame game going for as long as it possibly can. Everything we've heard from USC and the people we've been talking in over the course of last year and beyond is they're gung-ho as well. Well, this was Lincoln Riley at Big Ten Media Days discussing the future of playing Notre Dame.
I know it means, a lot to a lot of people, and the purist in you, no doubt. Now, if you get in a position where you got to make a decision on what's best for SC to help us win a national championship versus keeping that, then you got to look at it. I mean, and listen, we're not the first example of that. Look all the way across the country. There's been a lot of other teams sacrifice rivalry games. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but, as we get into this playoff structure, and if it changes or not, we get in this new conference, we're going to learn some about this as we go, and what the right and the best track is to winning a national championship. That's going to evolve. Bama was ahead of the curve for years, I thought, on how they scheduled in the non-conference, right? They would occasionally hit the marquee non-conference game. They'd play two other, not very good teams. They'd play one late so that they got essentially a little bit of a bye week right there late in the season when your, season's been going on, you're a little beat up. They didn't schedule for their fans. They scheduled to win championships. And so my hope is we can do the best thing, schedule to win championships, and that includes a rivalry game that, for all that comes with that and all that it means. But if you get in those positions, you got to make a decision on what the priority is.
There you go. I mean, that's as plain as it gets from the USC head man. I'm not saying that this is some sort of orchestrated thing with the Big Ten and USC at the forefront of it, or more so just the reality of Lincoln Riley looking at a schedule and going, well, this is not what I signed up for going forward. And the idea of having to play Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and Oregon and the rest of it. You want to play a big non-conference game, all of those things. If my hunch would be that if the USC-Notre Dame rivalry is going to continue, it would have to be something that is at the beginning of the season. In the first month in September. I don't think it'll be something. Now, USC usually plays in South Bend at the end of October. They play in Los Angeles at the end of the year. So they already, SC won't go to Notre Dame in November already. So that part of it is already amendable. But I don't think it will remain the way that it is, and I think it's on the table. And I think the Big Ten has a possibility now to put a real power play on the Irish and their fans and say, what's important to you? Do you want to play Duke? Do you want to play Virginia Tech? Do you want to play Florida State? Do you want to play Georgia Tech? Or do you want to play Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, and USC? Who do you want to play?
I think the Notre Dame
have
fan
that control.
Would come back to you and be like, I'll talk to you in January. I'll give you my answer in January. Because it's still very much, and even for USC fan, and Lincoln in that comment talks about the purists would still, I'm sure, like to see the Trojans play the Irish. But if it prevents them from being an at-large Big Ten team, or if it prevents them from making the college football playoff, then how does that change their opinion? Similarly with Notre Dame, if the Irish are able to run the table and then they run into that they have an oopsie daisy in Los Angeles because they don't have a conference championship game, maybe they're pushed out by a 2-3 win SEC team, despite having won maybe 2 losses to their resume up to that point. That I think both fan bases are definitely, I think where all of us are. We'll let you know in January exactly how we feel about all of that, other than for USC, now we're in the Big Ten, and it just got a lot tougher for us to navigate a conference championship game.
Yeah, and you think, go ahead, Bake, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love your point about the Big Ten, throwing their weight around and saying, hey, Notre Dame, we're going to make you come into this conference by none of the teams you've always played. They're not going to play you until you do. But I hate this, how much tradition we're losing in sports. And I put myself in the shoes of Bodie, who's a Notre Dame fan here. Mm-hmm. What if one day this happens and we lose the game? Now, the chances of that happening
we already
are
have,
slim,
Bake, you've already lost it. You've lost it. That's why last year was so important. That last year was the last time where that game meant everything. And I hear people right now go, "Boy, you idiot! They're going to play this year. It's going to mean everything." Okay, what happens if they both go in and undefeated? You win or lose, then you play the next week in the Big Ten championship game. Does it mean as much? How could it? If you play the next week, and then you play 2 weeks later in the playoff. That last year's game was the last one of its kind. It's going to be different going forward. It'll still be critical, but it'll be different going forward. Like if you put it up on the poll, Buckeye fan, would you rather win the national championship or beat Michigan if they're mutually exclusive? My hunch is most would say win the national championship. Do you remember that image of Jalen Hurts walking around with the Auburn jersey on, hosting the national championship trophy? Okay, you got us in the Iron Bowl. We won the chipper. It's already happened, bud. It sucks. It sucks. But it's already happened. And I don't know, because I don't know if Michigan will be eligible for postseason play. I don't know if they're going to be good enough to be a postseason team this year or not. They get a lot of questions offensively, obviously very good defensively. So I don't know if that game, if there's a possibility this year for that to be the case where you could play them again. But it's coming. It's coming.
Now that you don't have an East and West. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's still, it's in play. Like the next, you're back to back, Ohio State, Michigan.
I'm so down now. I feel like it's a Monday.
It's a first Friday, buddy. You can pour yourself a drink and not feel bad about it tonight. I'm giving you permission.
Tonight, I may have to right now in the break.
That's right, in the break.
Mike chimes in the YouTube chat. You win the game. You might play him in the play. Or you win the game. You beat him in the Big Ten title game. You might play them in the playoff and go 3-0.
Yeah. But my argument to Mike would be, he's right, exactly. My argument to Mike would be that first one takes on less value if there's a chance to play them two more times. Like, which one means the most?
You know, like the old rubber match in the 3-game series.
Yeah, like the one that would mean the most is the last one. The elimination game, that would mean the most. It is a Hey Guys First Friday. We'll get to your questions coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
You never know if the person next to you in line is a McMuffin, a McGriddles, biscuit, or burrito person. But what you do know is that every last one of us in line for our McDonald's breakfast this morning were brave enough to get out of bed a few minutes early.
Right now, get a $2 breakfast sandwich like a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or sausage McMuffin with egg, only in the app. Offer valid one time per day from 7/29 to 9/1/24. Participating McDonald's must opt into rewards.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. We have all heard the horror stories of someone knocking on the door to offer a free roof inspection, only to go up and illegally create damage to the roof in hopes of trying to push through a new roof to the insurance company. Rather than having to deal with going through the process of filing claims for vandalism, call a company that you can trust. That company is Newman Roofing. They've been working in the community for 32 years. They did my roof. They came to the house. I could trust them with my kids, with my wife, with my family, and they have built a reputation of honesty and integrity. They'll be honest with you on whether or not you need a new roof, whether it's sustained damage in recent storms, and whether there's still life left in it. They'll educate you so you understand what is happening with your roof and answer any questions like they did for me and my family. So whether you need a roof repair or replacement, call the most trusted company in Ohio. Call Newman Roofing at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text KING to 424
2424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text KING to 42424. That's King to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. Both the Guardians and the Reds were active at the Major League Baseball trade deadline yesterday. Cleveland had added Lane Thomas the night before. Yesterday, they add starting pitcher Alex Cobb from the San Francisco Giants. The Cincinnati Reds, they had traded off pitcher Frankie Montas, sending him to the Milwaukee Brewers and receiving Joey Weimer and Jacob Junis. And they had acquired first baseman Ty France from the Mariners. Yesterday, they sent Lucas Sims to the Boston Red Sox. Outfielder Austin Slater and infielder Levon Soto are off to the Baltimore Orioles. Both teams ended up winning on trade deadline day. The Guardians beat the Tigers 5-0. Jose Ramirez homered. He moves into second all-time on the Guardians home run list. Santiago Espinal goes 4 for 4, and the Reds beat the Cubs 6-3. This one's sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. They've been voted best credit union 6 years in a row by CBUS Top Picks.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, before we get to Hey Guys, Reese, you guys continued with 20 Most Interesting, obviously, when I was out. Ole Miss, Georgia, both were covered during that time. We've got Penn State today. We'll have Alabama tomorrow, and then we'll do Ohio State 20 Most Interesting on Friday. What did you... Because one of the reasons I really love doing this is I feel like I learned something about the way a team is perceived by its local beat versus how it's perceived nationally. What jumped out to you on the teams that I missed?
Georgia doesn't feel like they have any real intention of disciplining players unless they get arrested. But for the Bulldogs, it feels like this is just business as usual. Like the expectations are win the national championship. And it's, I guess... exciting or sexy doesn't feel like Georgia's season. They've got, a schedule that's very navigable. But, yeah, the biggest thing that I got from that was, like, Kirby Smart has the collectives that are be finding some of these players, but until they get, like, actual law enforcement involved, they're just kind of running amok. And it feels like something's, like, big has to happen for anything to be done.
I mean, they had somebody die.
And that wasn't enough.
That wasn't enough.
So, I guess to my point, like what's bigger than the loss of life? That was what I took away from Georgia. With Ole Miss, David Decker was our guest, and this was the last Friday. And any of these that you want to go back and listen to, feel free to do so. Like they're waiting for Lane Kiffin to take another job.
So isn't that funny? Because we've asked Paul about that, and he says that too. And it's like, I think that's the perfect place for Kiffin.
Like Ole Miss, we'd love to make the playoff. That'd be great. Hey, cool if we can compete for an SEC championship. Maybe we make the game. But it's all just like, when's Lane Kiffin going to leave us?
Okay.
Which is, I thought, the strangest damn thing.
Yeah, I don't know where. I mean, interesting to see like where else he could go. It feels like they're giving him everything he wants from an NAL perspective. They're basically transfer you this year. So fascinating. And yeah, go back and listen to those. I've learned a lot over the course of it. And just 3 left to go. Penn State coming up in about an hour from now. Time for a little Hey Guys. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Yeah, when you're talking about High Bank, you are talking about that best blended whiskey in America. Find High Bank Distillery's award-winning local spirits at liquor stores near you. A little more about their Whiskey War line. And the Midnight Manhattan, this is the one that you just need to have on your shelves, ready. Folks come over, a little bit of a nightcap. It's ready for you. It's pre-mixed, ready to go. Check it out at highbankdistillery.com. The winner here gets a $50 gift card and a free distillery tour and a tasting for up to 10. Drink the best, forget the rest with High Bank Distillery.
Not only can you tweet hashtag HeyGuys at 971BFS, but we can answer your questions, hashtag HeyGuys in the YouTube chat.
There you go.
Where this one comes from Ace. First off, he says he's picked up on Lost thanks to your recommendation, Bo. Never watched it before. It's awesome. The question, hashtag, hey guys, would you rather be stranded on an island with total strangers or your actual family?
How extended is the family? How many? Like my wife and kids, sure. You know.
Let's go one more than that. You've got the father, and then you've got the father-in-law and the mother-in-law.
Oh, God. I think, I mean, I don't want to, I felt like I've already done my sentence with my father, so I'm good on that front. So I'd probably go total strangers on that side of it. Plus, it would give me something to get back to with my family that, you know, I'd like to see my wife and kids again. Yeah, that's a good one. How extended the family is probably dictates the answer to it. And by the way, I'm glad he's enjoying it. Yeah, it's a banger. If you got something that, if you haven't seen it, and the kids, if you got a kid, my oldest is 12, he's watching it, loves it. Can't wait. Like, he's trying to get the others to bed at Olympics so we can watch an episode when the Olympic stuff is done. So even though we haven't watched like 5 or 6 days, he's still that locked in.
I'm going to say total strangers because if it comes down to it, I don't want to have to take out members of my own family, and taking out total strangers feels like would be easier on my conscience.
There's no question. Yeah.
This one comes to us on Twitter. Brian says, hashtag, hey guys, what's the toughest Olympic sport? And then he comments, why is it water polo? He's right.
He's definitely water polo. I mean, that's insane. To just sit there and tread water and throw a ball around. I keep thinking to myself, like, they can't get on there's no like buoy that they can get on to like rest for a second. Like, it's just perpetual. So it's clearly water polo. The thing that is the most stupefying to me as someone who is a swimmer of very little regard is when I see these people do like Ledecky, when she does like the long distance swims. I just can't even wrap my head around that. Like how far that is to do that. And I also think it's insane that they created these other strokes that are totally unnecessary. Like, you don't need to, in the course of swimming, why would you ever need the butterfly stroke?
Who discovered the backstroke?
Like, who's like, oh yeah, we got it. The backstroke, I guess I can kind of wrap my head around, because if you're stranded, I'm assuming that the reason we picked up swimming is because, hey, let's stay alive in the water if we ever fall into it.
Works different muscle groups.
Sure.
You're tiring out different parts of your body.
At what point were they like, oh yeah, let's try this stroke where we come out of the water and like wrap our, I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. So that's the one that I'm always like, why are we doing this thing?
It's got to be, especially this year, the triathlon, because you're swimming in that dirty water.
Are they doing that?
You get E. coli.
Is there too much poop in the river?
Well, I thought it was funny that I was listening to Tirico last night, and he was saying that, so they're going to do it today. They're going to do the triathlon in the river today. But what actually caused the spike in toxicity was rainfall. That it was the rainfall through our pollution into the river is what made it spike yesterday.
And they spent upwards of like $1 million, I think it was, to try to clean that thing out.
I think it was over 2.
Well,
sure.
I mean, they probably paid
ridiculous
10
amount,
100 times that for the right to have the game. So it's kind of a drop in the bucket. I don't know where else you could do. I guess you'd have to find a lake. Would be the other thing, right? You'd have to find a lake you could do it in. The swim part,
and would that be a pretty big lake?
More or less.
How far do they swim in
the
How far do they swim in the triathlon? Is it like a 5-mile swim? That's forever. Yeah. Just try swimming across your pool one time, and then think about doing 5 miles.
What's it, the pool that has the jets that push you?
Yeah,
and you can just swim for infinity. Get a bunch of those infinity pools, line them up, and have them race there.
Swim forever.
This comes to us on Twitter from Ryan. Hashtag, hey guys. Upon Bo's return from a recent trip, name the 3 trips or vacations that are the most memorable for each of you. While you think of that, John says $1.5 billion to clean the river.
That seems more online.
Wow. Holy cow.
$1 million. I'm like, God,
yeah, drop in the bucket. That's nothing for them, but $1 billion.
Now that seems more appropriate. And he said it on social.
Jeez,
so it must be true.
It's emphatic.
Favorite vacation with my wife was to the jump out. Our honeymoon, we did Bora Bora, which was honestly like the Garden of Eden. It was hard to wrap your head around it. We also did a California coast one that was really cool, where we flew into Los Angeles, did Santa Barbara, Big Sur. and then out of Monterey, and that was really, really cool. The Hawaii one we just did with the kids was awesome. Bootsy would tell you easily that the number one vacation was Disney. In fact, we had the boys rank them because we had a pretty busy year of travel, and he was quick to point out that Disney by 100 miles on every conversation was, let's get back to Disney at all cost.
Tahoe with the family a couple of years ago before the pandemic was incredible. It was after the pandemic. And then the past trip I just took with my girlfriend out to wine country in Oregon, would recommend 10 out of 10.
We did one when probably when I was in my early 20s where we went around Florida, but what sticks out was so memorable is we went over to Titusville and watched a space shuttle launch. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Then we took one, did like a long weekend up in the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, and that was a very, very fun time. And then just a sentimental one. We went way up into Canada. I don't even remember where, but it was just me and my grandpa not long before he passed on a fishing trip. And going fishing in rural Canada was something.
Was it like Ontario?
I can't remember.
North or Quebec?
We were way up. We probably went about 8 or 9 hours north from here. Okay. So I don't know, but it was like in nowhere. Like there was a little local feed store and like an Eagles club, and that was it.
Always an Eagles or a Moose. Always have a lodge.
All right, so we've got two more, one from YouTube and then one from Twitter. We'll do the Twitter one first. Chris chimes in, hey guys, any chance Connor Stallions comes out and pulls a Colonel Nathan Jessup on the Netflix special and proclaims, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
You can't handle the truth. I think if it were a true documentary, that would be like if he were feet to the fire and it was like Mike Wallace doing the questioning like 60 Minutes style, then I think you could get a you can't handle the truth out of Stallions. But I think this is going to be sports washing at its finest. And I think it's going to be him minimizing it and so forth. I'm curious about it. I know that there's a lot of conjecture about what Michigan could get or could not get. Look, you want to ban them from postseason play over the next year or two. They won they got the last laugh, man. You know, like it's like at the end of Ocean's 11 when Danny Ocean goes back into jail and then they're there to pick him up after 6 months. And it's like, that's what they're getting. They're getting a 6 months jail stint. But in exchange, they robbed 3 casinos.
I hope
there's no scenario where you're going to get your pound of flesh on it. I don't think there's anything. Nothing's going to happen to Harbaugh. Nothing is going to happen, I don't think, significantly to the program. Postseason ban for 2 years. So what? They got an undefeated national title. Everybody out there listening right now would trade that. If I said you could have an undefeated national title right now, would you take a postseason ban the next 2 years? I would.
I hope Stallions is either chesty about it or he's like, nah, we didn't do We didn't do any of that. But if I did, here's how I would have done it.
Like Juice?
Like OJ.
OJ?
I have such high hopes for this, but I just have a feeling it's going to be very disappointing. This quick to everything, I just don't think we're going to get
that. And with the NCAA kind of still, I mean, not kind of, but still looming over things, it does feel it's a very sterile retelling, and especially from Connor Stallions. Just real quick, Bodie Wells chimes in on YouTube, hashtag, hey guys, I grew up on SC pummeling Notre Dame every single year. Yeah. Is it safe to say Lincoln Riley is a coward for trying to duck the Fighting Irish?
So Bodie and Feinbaum are in lockstep now. Bodie and Paul. I don't think it's. I don't know if USC is trying to duck the Irish or anything like that. I don't think that what Lincoln Riley signed up for at USC is his reality. Like, I think he thought he was going to get to go be king, much like he was king of the Big 12 when he was Oklahoma. All right, I got to beat Oregon every once in a while, but I'll have similar resources and recruiting and better history and all of that, so that's fine. But other than that, I should be able to cruise through this conference, playing a lot of championships and so forth and so on. And all of a sudden he gets plopped into the Big Ten. He's got to deal with this snake pit. So I think the realities aren't what he signed up for. And I would not be at all, though, surprised if people in the Big Ten are also saying, hey, you don't have to play them, because what's the benefit to us? There's none.
It becomes we need you to play another out of conference at the beginning of the season, and then you got enough conference games, you're good, because I do wonder if they say it hurts your chance to make the playoff, it hurts your argument, and that hurts the money that we are able to get from having more teams in the CFP.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no benefit to Big Ten teams playing Notre Dame. So Notre Dame has to make a decision what they want. Do they want to be an ACC team or do they want to be a Big Ten team? It's their choice. Those are or SEC, whatever they want to go. But I think independence is going to go by the wayside here in the next 3 to 5 years. I can't see a scenario where it doesn't. Let's go, Chris. Chris had the Connor Saliens question, I believe.
He did.
All right, we'll go, Chris. You're the big winner in the bar tonight, buddy. You get the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. You get that free distillery tour and the tasting for up to 10 people. That is awesome. You're going to learn so much about whiskey and the way that they do it, and they are masters at High Bank. Drink the best, forget the rest with High Bank Distillery. Coming up next, we go around the NFL. The Bengals get some new digs, and Justin Fields looking very good in Pittsburgh. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 Roof. We go to war for you.
If you've been a bus accident victim, don't suffer in silence. Call attorney Robert Scherger at 877-WAR-FOR-YOU for a free consultation. Know your rights and get results. Visit warforyou.com for more information. warforyou.com.
FC Series presents Premier League giants Manchester City versus Chelsea. Don't miss the chance to see these great teams live at Ohio Stadium. Get your tickets now at fcseries.com.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
Guys, it's summer and it's time to do more outdoors. But do you feel out of energy, lacking motivation, and mental focus? It could be low testosterone. Low T affects millions of men and it happens naturally. The solution, testosterone replacement therapy at Low T Center. It starts with a quick test and results are fast. Don't wait. Take control of your health. And now Low T Center is offering a free initial test. So if you're over 30, schedule a visit at lowtcenter.com today. Offered till July 31st. That's lowtcenter.com. Terms and conditions apply.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hey, Ohio!
Don't miss the Ohio State Fair July 24th through August 4th.
With fair favorites like the butter cow sculpture, livestock animals,
Endless shopping,
delicious fair food,
free live music, thrilling rides and games,
competitions, and so much more.
Enjoy all that the Ohio State Fair has to offer now through Sunday, August 4th.
Tickets on sale at the gate or at ohiostatefair.com.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Our video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Looking at a few late day showers and storms, highs in the low 90s. Heading into tomorrow, we're going 92 for the high temperature with a few showers and storms. It looks like some cooler air comes in by Friday and Saturday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with a look at your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
After putting up with Dom Barry for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
NFL game tomorrow night, the Hall of Fame game, 8 o'clock. You can hear it on the Fan following the Buckeye show. The Bears and the Texans will be involved, although my guess is you will not recognize many of those who will be taking part in this. Caleb Williams and many of the other Bears are not playing in the Hall of Fame game. Same, I would assume, would be true of Houston.
Get a series?
No, I don't think so. I do think that the NFL should do a better job with this. So I was at this game last year because Joe Thomas went into the Hall of Fame. So we went up to the game and took it in. And I'll be honest with you, like it was sold out. There were no tickets to the game. I don't know how much of that was Joe, but my guess is that was certainly a part of it. But they still do a pretty good job of like having the stars around. Like I remember Bootsy like playing catch with Sauce Gardner. Like he was like on the sidelines, like throwing the ball to the boys. Like all three of the boys got to play catch, like catch a ball, throw it to him, and then he'd kind of go around. And so there was that type of stuff. Miles was doing the same thing on the Browns side of it. So they do a pretty good job with that. I do wish that in an effort to make that something that almost kind of like a gift to the Hall of Famers that are playing, the Hall of Famers who are being inducted, they're like the starters got a series. I think everyone would like to have them have a series, but at the same time, like I get it from a team perspective. I don't need to see Caleb Williams throwing the ball around on August 1st. I don't need that for even one series. But I think you could do it without anybody getting hurt. I mean, you got to remember, like these teams now do the joint practices. And if they can navigate that without injury, they can navigate a Hall of Fame game without injury. Just have a little bit of common sense in how you go about your business. The Bengals have been at it for a while. The headliner, from what I could tell in my time away, was Joe Burrow's hair. Bold statement.
It was a choice.
It certainly was. And he can pull it off, I guess. Did he ever answer as the reason for it?
Yeah, he said he just got bored.
Okay. All right. It reminded me when he was at Athens, when he wore that his senior year, he had that bleach blonde look. It was longer. It wasn't quite the way that this looks, kind of like just a long buzz that he went with, which that's definitely a choice.
Yeah, so I think when he spoke to reporters for the first time after Bengals camp opened, that was the first question lobbied at him.
I got bored.
Yeah.
That's about it. BJ said that if I buzzed it and bleached it, he would do it too. So now everybody's got to hold him accountable because he's got to do it in the next week.
And he did. Like DJ did it.
So there you go.
Yeah, so I guess that worked, that part of it. The Bengals get new locker rooms as well, so that was a lot of pride in the fact that they're getting that done. I had an interaction on social today with loyal, longtime listener. Let me find this one for you. It's pretty good.
Matt?
I think it's Matt. Yeah, he goes, not that you've asked, but the mindset of the Bengals fans currently is this. Smoking jackets are on. We're enjoying the cocktails, and the Chase thing will sort itself out. Kids are bleaching their hair. It's all good. Yeah, they are kind of in that spot. Look, this is the crazy thing about this AFC North is there are two teams in this division, in the Bengals and the Ravens, who it's, hey, stay healthy, go win the Super Bowl. There are the Cleveland Browns, who are stay healthy, get 80% of what Deshaun Watson was previously, go win the Super Bowl. And then there's Pittsburgh, who did the biggest gamble of anybody and reset their quarterback position after telling us all off season that they weren't going to be doing so. They brought in both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Like one or the other would have been interesting, but they brought them both in. And this was an actual headline. This was on, is this Sports Illustrated, Reese, where this headline is from?
Yeah, it's their team website.
Okay, so this is the headline. Justin Fields has perfect day at Steelers camp. Through the air, and this is what it says. Through the air, Fields was perfect on the day, completing all of his passes in both team and 7-on-7 when the team opened practice and goal line as they do every day. Fields kept the offense alive with a fade route to George Pickens, who pulled the ball in with a one-hander over Joey Porter Jr. On the ground, Field was electric. He started the day by winning goal line drills for the offense. Tied 3-3, Fields went back in with the first team, took a shotgun snap, and headed toward the pile with defenders chasing him. Joey Porter Jr. was closest to running him down, but the speed Field possesses, there was little chance anyone was going to touch him before he crossed the line. What I think was going to be I wanted these guys to be the Hard Knocks team because I wanted to see how Tomlin managed this with Wilson and Fields. From that, it seems to me that they're at the very least splitting their reps, the first team reps between the two of them at the very least. Russell Wilson was asked, he's been available, about his relationship with Justin Fields. Here's what he had to say.
I've always tried to be a mentor in some way to him. We've always texted, called, whatever it may be in the past. And same thing now. We're a team. We're always trying to work to get better together. That every rep that he's taking, I'm learning. Vice versa, every rep that I'm taking, he's learning. And we're always talking and communicating. So I think that's a critical thing to being successful as a team.
If you're a Steelers fan, you're hoping Fields wins this thing and is everything people thought he was going to be when he was drafted. And then it's solved. Then you hit the lottery.
You got a
decade. Franchise quarterback, exactly, for a decade for what amounts to a bucket of balls.
Doesn't that seem like the most Steelers thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
To do?
That's the most Pittsburgh damn thing in the world. And then he can keep Mike Tomlin. I mean, you could add minimum 5 years to Tomlin's coaching career. If he's got a franchise quarterback, they continue to, at the very worst, win 9 games a season. And if they have a quarterback, tack on 5 more wins there.
Damn it. That pass that Fields threw to George Pickens that they were talking about, it was kind of making the rounds on socials yesterday. It was a dime.
Well, he has the ability to do that, Bake, as we know. The criticism of him in Chicago was that he struggled with processing, that he struggled with what he was asked to see and do, and that because the receiving core he had at Ohio State was so good, he didn't have to make a lot of snap decisions and throw into tight windows. That was the criticism. The biggest shot at Fields was the fact that his offensive coordinator from Chicago is the offensive coordinator with the Raiders and did not choose to pursue him and said, yeah, we're good with Gardner Minshew. That was the biggest shot to Fields in the way that he's perceived by the Bears organization. I always countered with that of he was put in about as bad a spot to succeed as anybody. The only guy I could think of who was put in a worse spot to succeed was probably Baker at the start of his career in Cleveland with the way they went with all the different offenses. I mean, they had basically 4 different offenses by the time he got to Stefanski. And I think had the two of them maybe started off together, I think it could have probably worked because I think Bake probably does possess a lot of the things that Kevin wants in a quarterback. But at that point, he was kind of already broken and needed a change of scenery. And I think the same was probably true of Justin. But I would also say this. If there is a chance for success in the league, this is the spot. To your guys' point, you're not getting more stable than this. Now, the question is, how long do they keep this a competition? How committed are they to Russell being the starter? Or will Fields have a chance to win that job right away? It's hard to get a real straight read on how they are handling this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. With honestly, all 4 quarterbacks are going to have different preseasons in terms of the snaps they take during games. Like, because with this, and Wilson's been limited at Steelers camp. Fields is obviously, as we just read from Sports Illustrated, taken a handful of snaps, a handful of meaningful snaps, and it's those two. How do they divide that up if Wilson plays at all in the preseason? Does he need to?
I guess it depends on how they perceive Wilson, right?
I think that'll tell you, right? Or would it tell you?
Are they saying like, yeah, he's the starter and we're going to develop Justin, or is Justin going to be the type where he woos them and they just choose him right away? He's going to win the room. He's a personality.
He hasn't done it already.
Yeah, Justin will win the room. I promise you that. Buckeyes start tomorrow. Jake Trotter, college football, national reporter at ESPN. What did he learn this summer about the sport, and what is he most interested to see tomorrow at Buckeye camp? We'll get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Ignite your Irish spirit at the Dublin Irish Festival, August 2nd through 4th. Prepare to be blown away as you explore one of the top Irish festivals in the US, drawing over 100,000 guests to Dublin, Ohio each year. Enjoy 7 music stages, 60 acts and more than 800 performers, epic Irish entertainment, great food and more. Get your tickets at dublinirishfestival.org.
Know how. Know now. Be in the know now with the free 10 TV app. News now. Weather now. Traffic right now. Alerts before you know and go. Breaking news, community events, your favorite teams, and their live scores. Anything you want to know now. Now you know how to know everything right now. And we love knowing you know. Stay in the know with a 10 TV app. Download it for free right now.
Is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things that you love? Bone-on-bone pain in your knee, arthritic pain like I was having in my knee, maybe your hip, your back, your shoulder. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Listen, there are exciting new cellular therapies that you can get lasting relief from. QC Kinetics is helping patients like you every day here in Columbus, led by Dr. Ray Tesner. I'm talking about cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. Listen, my dad was having knee pain. I was having knee pain. So we went over to QC Kinetics, and they were able to help us out. And 2 years out, I'm still feeling good. My dad can still move around. So learn how QC Kinetics can treat pain and enhance your joints and restore your mobility and give you long-term lasting relief with no downtime. So check them out. Go to 380-208-4544 or head to one of their offices in Dublin, Gehanna, or now the new one that's most recently opened in Grove City.
If you're obsessed with fantasy sports and gambling things, we have the slightly above average radio show for you. On the Money with Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Wednesday night at 8 on The Fan.
Need inspiration. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
BreezeLine's fiber-powered home internet, starting at $19.99 per month, offers the reliability you deserve and security you can trust. With a price lock guarantee, no contracts, and free equipment, you can't beat this amazing deal. Protection against cyber threats and no annoying data caps means you'll never have to think about your internet again. And now you can bundle and save when you add BreezeLine Mobile, with plans starting as low as $12.50 per month per line. Act now. Terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer. Learn more at breezeline.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Indeed, he is. He joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, national college football writer at ESPN. Jake, thank you so much for taking the time. Well, we start tomorrow around here. We've had a summer to kind of talk about all of this and to talk about the sport in general. As you've gotten back in and jumped headfirst back into the college football side of things, what are the storylines that intrigue you the most about this season, Buckeyes or otherwise?
I think for Ohio State, Bo, when you look at recent college football history, I don't know many teams have had an offseason like the one that Ohio State has had. I mean, when you really look at who they got to come back, who they added in the portal, who they added to call offensive plays, and just looking ahead to current and future recruiting, I don't know. I can't think of an offseason in recent college football history that matches up. And so it's only going to and has fueled the expectations, but also heightened the pressure on this season. And I feel like Ohio State, if they don't win a national championship and also, of course, beat Michigan this year, it's going to feel like a disappointment. Now, are those expectations fair? No. But I think that's what it is going into this season. And there's going to be a lot of eyeballs, not just from Buckeye Nation, but across the country on Ohio State and Ryan Day to see how they respond to the pressure that's going to be on them this year.
I think the other part of it that's interesting is without Saban, Kirby has the established program. He's won the national titles. They were on the cusp of it a year ago. So, he's up and operational. But without Saban at Alabama, there is kind of there's this chasm of who's going to join Georgia. And to your point, it's on point. Ohio State is saying, it's us. We're the ones. We are now here to fight with both hands in front of us and with both fists punching. The crazy thing about this, Jake, is the best, most talented Ohio State teams have not won the national title. It's usually the year before or the year after when they get it, usually not the team that's most loaded. The other thing that's interesting here is you're going to have a new quarterback in some way, one way or another. And I know you'll be at practice tomorrow. How do you anticipate Ryan Day and Chip Kelly managing 5 quarterbacks, including at least 2 they got to get ready and 1 they got to get ready to go?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when they announce the starter because, you go back – to Urban, and especially the year that they had the great competition coming off the national championship. I believe nobody even knew who was going to start until they got into the game. Michigan the same way that year. Michigan's going to be interesting. I think they have more of a true quarterback battle, with 3 or 4 different guys that I think have at least a decent shot to come out of that derby. I mean, I think that Will Howard is probably going to be the starter in week 1. Can he hold the job? Can he perform at the level he needs to keep the job? Because they have other really intriguing options. So I don't know. I don't have a sense of when they're going to get there. Chip Kelly said after the spring game, his experience is that, the players will kind of tell us. The players know who the guy is, and it's going to be organic. It's not going to be a forced decision. It's just going to become apparent in practice over the course of the next month that this is the guy. So maybe they get to a point sooner than we think. But I think that's going to be really interesting when they make that decision and compared to Michigan, where who I think is more intriguing.
Yeah. That part's going to be fascinating as well. They'll probably have some NCAA news coming in the next couple of weeks too on their front. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. You mentioned Ohio State in terms of the pressure and the off season. I would argue that second place in terms of really crushing their offseason is probably new Big Ten member Oregon. They get Dan Lanning to stay, says no to Alabama. They get Dylan Gabriel in the portal. They're killing it in recruiting. They're going head-to-head with everybody. They killed it in the portal. Phil Knight and the Nike money is ready to be flexed and spent. If I were to said to you a year ago that it would be Oregon, not USC and Lincoln Riley, who would be coming into this league healthier, what would you have said?
Well, I think Lanning's an outstanding coach, and you are right about the NIL. I mean, they've been very discreet about how much they're spending. But if you talk to people in that world outside of Oregon, at the very least they're top 5 if not top one, in terms of what they're spending in NIL. And getting Dylan Gabriel was, a huge coup. I mean, you're getting the preseason betting Heisman favorite, to come in and play quarterback for you. And just, talking to people at Oklahoma, like, he was very, very well liked, like, very popular guy. I got to talk to him a little bit at Big Ten Media Days, like, super nice kid and, somebody that's easy to root for. The question I have about Oregon is this. We have seen teams realign over the years, and, outside of the Johnny football 2012 Aggies where they beat Alabama, Johnny had that great year. And then, since then, A&M has, basically been what they've always been, what they were in the Big 12 and before that, the Southwest Conference. We haven't seen anybody realign and just dominate, in their new conference, right? Like, I can't think of any example where, you come in and you're taking the conference by storm. Usually it takes a little bit of an adjustment, sometimes surprisingly so. And I think the question for Oregon is how do they deal with the week-to-week physicality that they're going to encounter in the Big Ten? Now, it's not that, you don't play physical teams in the Pac-12. Utah, super physical team, et cetera. But it's just the week-in, week-out physicality of it. And then I'm not talking about necessarily Michigan, Ohio State, but it's the Iowas and Wisconsins on your schedule that you have to deal with. So, they're as talented as anybody. Like, I think they and Ohio State are the clear, favorites to get to the Big Ten title game. And I think that they are, probably two of the four favorites to get to the playoff, clear favorites to get to the playoff in college football. But week in, week out, can they handle the physicality? Do they have the depth to deal with that? Because it is going to be different than what they're accustomed to.
Did you have a moment at Big Ten? Did you see Lincoln at Big Ten Media Day?
I did. I did catch up with Lincoln.
Did you have a moment where it was like, what are you doing here? No, what are you doing here? Like,
so,
like you covered him at OU. It's so strange.
I know. And I've stayed in touch with Lincoln. Just, a lot of the, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts stories that I've done. I would check in with Lincoln, and he always great insight on those quarterbacks. His quarterback tree is he's got multiple starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And, the latest one, Caleb Williams at Chicago. I did see him. I said, who would have thought 5 years ago that we would be here at Big Ten Media Days together? And he was like, that is, you're not wrong about that. So it is, he's in a unique situation. I'm not super optimistic about USC this year. Like, I think that they could easily be like a 6-6 team. Caleb Williams was able to cover up some of the deficiencies they had. And Lincoln really was downplaying expectations in Indy. He more than once said, this is not going to be an overnight deal. We really had to rebuild this program. We came in, there was a lot of work to do. We're not there yet. You heard a lot of those themes.
I see.
From Lincoln, and it kind of makes you think, he knows this could be a little bit of a tough year for them because they got to deal with the same thing I was just saying about Oregon, and they're far less equipped to deal with that, especially defensively. So I think that Michigan game, what is that, like week 5, I want to say, give or take?
Yeah.
When they go to Michigan, that's going to tell us a lot about USC. Like, if they hang in there, they win maybe, which is certainly possible. Maybe I'll rethink my expectations for them. But if they just get beat up, that's going to be a really bad sign for them in the Big Ten, at least in the short term.
Jake, I'll get you out of here on this one. You were at Big Ten Media Days. Was there a team that you were – that maybe you came out of it feeling dramatically different about than you did coming in?
The team I am a little bit bullish on, more so than I maybe would have thought coming into this job, this summer, is Nebraska. Now, Nebraska's had 7 straight losing seasons, which for me, growing up in the old Big 8, it's just like hard to wrap your head around that. Like, how has Nebraska gotten to this point? But they're going to be really good defensively. They're going to be formidable up front. They're getting back to playing really good defense under Matt Rule, which they have not always done since joining the Big Ten. They've got the freshman quarterback who it looks like he's going to start. If he can give them a little bit of juice offensively, that's a team that could get back to a bowl game. Like, I don't think they're a Big Ten title contender, but I don't think they're 4-8 either. It feels like, a pretty good team that could be 7-5 and 8-4, kind of in that range. And if that happens, that's a good positive step for Nebraska. I think Matt Rule's a good coach. It didn't work out for him in the NFL, but he's won everywhere he's been in college.
Yeah.
And I think that there is some cautious optimism in Lincoln that they're going to have their best team in a pretty long time.
Well, that would be good for the league if that was the case. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow at Buckeye Camp, buddy. Thanks for the time, as always.
Okay, sounds good, Bo. Look forward to it. See you, buddy.
All right, that's our great buddy Jake Trotter, ESPN, joining on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We get Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Red Hot savings at Logan Services. Save up to $2,700 off a train system and pick one freebie to keep your home extra comfy. Book your free estimate now. Fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
Have you lost Ohio Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Don't settle for ordinary this summer when adventure awaits. Make memories that will last forever only at your Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, Central Ohio's family destination for fun. Plan your perfect summer trip at columbuszoo.org.
Hey there, Weekend Warriors. Austin Ward here. Sick of that slice? Tired of those 3 putts? What if I told you your handicap isn't about your swing, it's about your weight? Why not take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with Awaken 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August, getting your tour card by September, winning your first major, year 1. Think about it. Fame, fortune, and most important, winning $5 off your buddy, because you, sir, are closest to the pin. Taking strokes off your game is just 40 pounds away at Awaken180weightloss.com.
Awaken 180 does not guarantee an immediate 10 strokes off your score, receiving a tour card, or the ability to control the weather. Individual results may vary. Your newfound athleticism might cause jealousy amongst your foursome, leading to accusations of steroid use. Awaken 180 is not responsible for defending your honor in the clubhouse. Awaken 180 cannot guarantee that your newfound golf prowess will lead to a sponsorship deal, but we can't not guarantee it either. Awaken 180 is not responsible for any dramatic fist bumps or unsolicited golf tips you give to strangers. Awaken 180 does not offer refunds for any lost wagers made on your improved golf game. Bet wisely, my friend.
Strokes off your game by dropping pounds off your frame. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Morning Juice.
Rob's birthday's on Thursday.
It's unfortunate that this come every year. You know what? When people tell my dad, good to see you, he said it's better to be seen than viewed.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. I was in my Lexus the other day. It was hot as hell, but I was so thankful for my ventilated seats. I'm not saying that's why you should buy one. It's just very nice. Right now at Jermaine Lexus, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales Event with lease payments as low as $499 a month and 3.99% financing on select models. Get this, the RZ is 0%. I have been a Jermaine customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Jermaine Lexus, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
It's time to start saving with deals for days at Giant Eagle and Market District. From the everyday essentials to your must-have branded favorites, Deals for Days has low prices on more than 1,000 items across the store. Don't delay. These discounted prices on your go-to groceries will only be available for a limited time. Learn more about Deals for Days at GiantEagle.com or dive into savings today at your local Giant Eagle or Market District.
Great coaching can make all the difference, especially when it comes to your money. At Right Pac Credit Union, our financial coaches are on your team. We'll help you create a winning game plan that's customized for your unique needs, so you can make the most of your hard-earned money and live the life you want to live. Best of all, Right Pac Credit Union serves all of Central Ohio, so getting in the game is easy. Let's win together. Stop by one of our Central Ohio member centers to get started today. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a new golfer, think beyond the green and head over to X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell. Come experience the most advanced and accurate golf simulators in the world at X Golf. A fun venue with great food, excellent service, and a full bar. You can play around on one of our 50 courses, take a lesson from our PGA Pro, hit the driving range, join a league, or just sit back and sip a beer on the outdoor patio. Book your tee time today at playxgolf.com. X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell, the home of indoor golf.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
It's time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
So Devin Fitzgerald, he is the son of NFL Hall of Famer Larry Fitzgerald. He was eating at a Texas Roadhouse when he spotted a familiar face inside. It was current Cardinals rookie wide receiver and former Buckeye Marvin Harrison Jr. Devin, who was 16, wanted to talk with Harrison, but he looked like he was dining with his mother. So Devin left the restaurant and waited. After about 15 minutes, Harrison walked out, and Devin approached him, introduced himself, explaining that he was Fitzgerald's son, and asked if they could talk for a second. Marvin said, yeah, for sure, and said that he hadn't met his dad yet, but he was looking forward to it. Devin expected them to chat for maybe 5 minutes, but the two sat on a bench outside the restaurant for about 45 minutes, talking about having Hall of Fame fathers and the expectations and becoming their own player/person. Devin is a 6'2", 185-pound wide receiver, and he has started getting college attention after a strong finish to his sophomore season at Brophy College Preparatory in Phoenix. Thing or not a thing?
So many things there. Number one, the fact that Marvin would take this time is not surprising to me at all. Everything we've heard about him here is that this is the type of dude he is. Good job out of Devin for taking advantage of the situation. I mean, the receiver pops to kid lineage there is unmistakable and so unique to a couple of kids who could have that. But the thing that honestly got my attention most was Texas Roadhouse, huh?
Yes.
So I haven't been to Texas Roadhouse in a while. Is that the place where they throw the peanuts on the ground?
Well, you can eat peanuts at the table. They don't necessarily throw them on the ground, but the shells, yeah.
The shells are on the ground, right?
It's the cinnamon butter on the buns.
It's been a minute since I've been there, but I do remember the peanuts as a part of it and thinking it was very enjoyable. It does not seem like a place where a first-round NFL pick would have dinner with his mom. Like that's not a private place. You know what I mean? Like, You're going to get noticed there.
This is the first thing I thought when I read this, too.
A fan of the biscuits. I can't blame them. Texas Roadhouse is wonderful.
Well, I don't have a problem with it at all. It's the type of place that I'm surprised that it feels like you're not going to be inconspicuous there.
I don't think he minds.
He must not.
I mean, it's good food, good vibes.
So they do the honey butter. Is that their deal?
Yeah.
Cinnamon butter.
Oh, cinnamon butter on the biscuits. Okay. And then you get the peanuts. I mean, that's a win. All that wins.
It's delightful.
But cool that he'd spend time with. I can't imagine him. So he hasn't met Larry Fitzgerald's son yet. Or hasn't met Larry Fitzgerald
yet. Weird he hasn't met Larry Fitz.
Like, wouldn't Larry
be I would read that.
Hanging around the program?
You would think he would have met him years ago when his father was playing against him.
Mm-hmm. But a cool thing that he would spend that much time with him.
After more than 5 decades in business, 81-year-old Arthur Blank thinks a lot about all sorts of succession plans, particularly one that the Atlanta Falcons didn't do great with. Just a couple years ago, the team has struggled since trading quarterback Matt Ryan without a plan in place. He said, we made it clear to Kirk Cousins that we probably were going to draft a quarterback in this draft. It turned out that Michael Penix, who our coaching staff and personnel department graded extraordinarily high, happened to be there at 8, and they viewed him as a tremendous player. He added, I think Kirk was surprised, as many people were. Frankly, we were, that Penix was available at 8. Our plan was not to pick a quarterback at 8, but the grades our coaching staff had on him and him being available at 8 turned out that that's what happened. A league source described Cousins as stunned when the Falcons made the Penix pick at number 8, but Blank said he believes Cousins now understands the thought process and the team's intentions. Thing or not a thing?
So all of this is a thing as well. The first part of it that's a thing is I kind of understand the Falcons' logic, in that being we have a very good roster, and with Kirk Cousins, we're not going to have a chance to pick a quarterback this high again for a very long time. That's what they're betting on. So I understand the logic there of, hey, we have this guy graded very high. This could be a franchise quarterback for a decade. Let's do it now. The thing that makes it a little bit hard, though, is they're an organization who a year ago took a running back at number 8. And as good as Bijan Robinson is, that's just not something you do anymore. Taking a running back at 8 is something you do when you're one player away from winning a Super Bowl. So they had one draft when they drafted like they were a player away from winning a Super Bowl when their quarterback was Desmond Ridder. And then they have a draft this year where they're drafting for the future, where it feels like they should be drafting for the right now. So I think that's what's confusing for people. And I think rightfully so.
Yeah, it's a thing. I believe where it says the Cousins stunned when they made that Penix the pick. But I also want to ask that league source if it's the real truth. Cousins, quote, now understands the thought process and the team's intentions. It's like, is that's what Cousins like? No, I'm totally good with that being the case, despite it probably not being the case. Like look, it's fine when it's not my team that the owner wants to be as meddlesome as possible because it's entertaining as hell. Like with David Tepper in Carolina. Just again, as long as it's not my team.
The best part is if Penix has a long NFL career and does great for the Falcons, nobody will ever think about this again. But kind of crazy right now. John Elway was on Barstool's Pardon My Take podcast earlier this week, and he spoke about his biggest regret as GM of the Denver Broncos.
How did you not get Josh Allen? I feel like he is exactly your type.
I know, he is. And believe me, last year I played with him, and I'm wondering how long is it going to take him to realize that I passed on him and took Bradley and Chubb instead?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it took him 2.5 holes to bring it up. And I loved him, right?
Yeah.
But it just,
he was your type.
That's the was my type. And you're right. That was probably my biggest mistake of my GM days, was not taking Josh.
Thing or not a thing?
Huge thing. So that was a fascinating draft because the Browns were down to Allen or Mayfield at number 1 overall. Now, I would contend that if they had drafted Allen, I'm not sure he could have survived going from Hugh Jackson to Todd Haley to Freddie Kitchens to Kevin Stefanski. I don't know anyone could have survived that, but they were down to those two, and they went with Baker. The idea that the Broncos didn't take him, isn't the notion that because they had Case Keenum, they just signed in free agency? That they didn't feel the need to draft a quarterback, and so they went Bradley Chubb instead. Like, they were convinced they were close with Keenum, who made the Pro Bowl the year before, I think, in Minnesota. And so that's the reason that they didn't do the Allen pick, which is
and they had drafted Paxton Lynch the year before.
Well, that's the other part of it. So I think he was probably was it a year before with Paxton Lynch?
Yeah, I think it was. Okay. I think it was the 2016 draft. Or 2017, whichever was the year before.
Okay, so then he's probably gun-shy, too, and thinking, like, I stuck my neck out for this guy. How can I undercut him already? Where really the attitude ought to be similar to what we see more like what the Bears just did with Fields. Like, if you have a chance to get somebody who you view as an upgrade, then you do the upgrade.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, was the Paxton Lynch pick the year before. And I'm not also sure, like, when you look back on the legacy draft-wise for John Elway, isn't great.
Peyton Manning bailed him out, Reese.
That helps, right? But from like a draft standpoint,
you're right.
To Baker's point, like, you have the quarterback, and he can cover up a lot of warts. And one for general manager John Elway wasn't a guy in a great draft or a great talent evaluator out of college. It's tough. It's a very difficult thing. But yeah, I just when he says that, because I think they were golfing in Tahoe. Was what that's from, where Elway's golfing with Josh Allen. And it's like, these guys, when they pick a quarterback, especially they pick him in the first round, because I think Lynch was like 20-something overall. It takes so much, or it's taken so much. Hopefully guys are quicker to it now to get off the guy. The first round pick, I got to make this guy work. It's like, you don't have to. If there's a better option available, it's pride.
We've seen it in that draft, right? You saw it with Darnold. You saw it with Rosen in Arizona, Darnold in New York Jets. Like, you are starting to see that be more of a possibility. Final hour of the program coming up next. 20 most interesting programs. Heads east to the Nittany Lions. Unrivaled, but what does the new Big Ten in the playoff mean for James Franklin's program with an Ohio quarterback that might be better than we all thought? We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
From the first one born in the USA to the tens of millions that followed, from the American highways to the NASCAR race days, Toyota Camry has been there, done that, and has the accolades to prove it. But that wasn't enough. It had to be better. Introducing the all-new 9th generation Toyota Camry. All hybrid all the time to be more efficient yet powerful. With the capability to go wherever you want to go in style and comfort. The all-new 2025 Camry from Toyota. Let's go places.
Meet Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. It can happen so quickly that you don't realize it until you face a crisis. Gambling issues often connect to depression, anxiety, or other addictions. Maryhaven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Be Honest Bespoke Skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. The Major League Baseball trade deadline was yesterday. The Guardians and Reds had opposite approaches to yesterday's deadlines. Cleveland added to their team, their second-best record in the Major League. Yesterday, they added starting pitcher Alex Cobb from the San Francisco Giants. that was on top of getting Lane Thomas, an outfielder from the Washington Nationals, the day before. Cincinnati yesterday traded off reliever Lucas Sims to the Boston Red Sox. Then they sent outfielder Austin Slater and infielder Levon Soto to the Baltimore Orioles. That on the heels of trading Frankie Montas to the Milwaukee Brewers the night before. Both won on the field yesterday, though. The Guardians beat the Tigers 5-0. Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, and Brian Rocchio all homered. Santiago Espinal went 4-for-4 with a 2-run homer. The Reds beat the Cubs 6-3. Breaking sports news as it happens on The Fan.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Final hour here on a First Friday. Get your officially endorsed coming up at the end of the show. Rich Scarcella on Penn State coming up. We'll hit the Nittany's and 20 most interesting in just a second here. That pie analogy, we've always assessed, Reese, that Mike Brown is talking about some sort of a meat pie. That's what I envision him eating there. The only dessert pie I could have him envisioning to me would be like pecan pie.
I was thinking more like a rhubarb.
Strawberry rhubarb would be a hit for sure for him. That's old school pie.
It feels like with, him. I mean, I guess would he be a great grandpa at this point?
Yeah.
You got to serve pie for family, so something that others can enjoy. Although maybe he's a selfish pie eater, and this is mine. Grandpa's got his. You all got to fend for yourselves.
Hogs all the pie.
You know what the people, the Mainers, I think is that what you would call people from Maine, the Mainers? What they would do that was kind of on the reg was they would do a dessert that I think is really underutilized and underdeveloped and is a shining star and probably my favorite. They were big on like the fruit crumble. So you guys seen this? Like there's like a cherry crumble. So they had those. They had blueberry crumble. Like everything was a crumble. And I'm telling you, man.
I think it's better than a pie.
It's better than a pie. Mm-hmm. The crust is better. The top's better. It's a win. Like they threw me some sort of a cherry crumble that was a little warmed with a little vanilla ice cream. Come on. That was outrageously good. Good job out of the Maine people.
It feels easier.
I do think it does.
To prepare, to make.
To dish out.
Yeah.
Even.
People from Maine are called Mainers or Down Easters.
Okay. All right. Mainers. There you go. Yeah, they're locked in. They're locked in on the desserts. All right, let's hit 20 most interesting.
As college football draws near, Bishop and Friends present the 20 most interesting programs. Spoiler alert, Rutgers isn't one of them.
It is the Nittany Lions of Penn State. They are unrivaled. They didn't want to play Ohio State anymore or Michigan anymore on the reg. They've been waiting on this for a long, long time. The idea being that once we get to a playoff, whether we win or lose to Ohio State and Michigan every year will not matter. We'll win 10 games, and we will get into the dance. Reese, previous to this incarnation of the show, you and I worked together years ago up in Cleveland as well. Is it possible that I want more for Penn State than Penn State wants for Penn State?
Yes.
I think so, too.
You want for them so badly. It's like
so badly.
It's a parent, honestly. You want so badly for your child, but there comes to a certain point where the child just has to either sink or swim in life. And you're sitting and you try your damnedest to cheer it on, to root for it, to give it proper advice, but it's just there and doing. They do not want the best for themselves, or they settle at a place where you sit back, and I'm the same way with you, go, why? Why wouldn't you want to be better?
It's the damnedest thing. There aren't many examples of it.
They could do so much better.
I think, but maybe we're wrong. And maybe we have it wrong. I don't feel like we do. I don't think that there is any residing damage from Sandusky or Paterno. I think that is so in the distant rear view mirror. I think there's a generation of kids who probably don't even know that happened. The people that they're recruiting now, I can't imagine they have that at the ready. The only thing that I can think of that would be negative for them is their campus is remote and it's tough to get to. But so are a lot of those SEC places are tougher to get to. It's not that much more difficult getting to State College than it is getting to Auburn, or it is getting to Tuscaloosa. You're flying into Birmingham and you're driving. It's the same thing here. I'm guessing you fly into Harrisburg or Philly and you drive over. It's not that bad. I mean, there's nothing else to it. They don't have the same proximity to talent that some of those programs in the South do. They have to fight constantly the notion of Ohio State recruiting players on the East Coast that have to drive through or near State College to come here. And I think that's been a painful one, whether that's Philadelphia players like Marvin Harrison or D.C. players like Dwayne Haskins. Guys have had to drive by their campus to come here. I think the biggest thing that Penn State has going against it is this, though. I think they are so fearful to fall into oblivion if they move off of Franklin that they have just accepted this as their norm. They are the classic example of, if we break up with her, are we sure we can do better? My charge to Penn State is, yes, you can. You can do better than this. Now, he has leveraged every job option. Every time USC comes open, he leverages it for more money at Penn State. And he's done a fine job there. They're a fine program, but they are not elite. They haven't been elite for a while. I don't know that that's going to change in the playoff, especially when you consider the Big Ten is also adding USC and Oregon coming in. When I think of Penn State this year, to me, at their ceiling, they're competing for like the 3rd spot or the 4th spot in the Big Ten in the playoff. If they get 4, then that's what they're competing for. They have a lot of returning talent, including Drew Aller, who we'll get to in a second. But my perception of them is exactly what I asked you. I think they are more capable than they are letting on, and I think what's holding them back most is their coach.
Yeah, he's hit their ceiling. He hit his head on it, and he stumbled back, and now he's just there, and they are way too scared, to your point, to move off of him because look what happened to Michigan. When Michigan decided it was time for a change from a coach that had done, and I would say, Lloyd Carr was much more successful, though, but for the Michigan man, that oblivion is something that Penn State looks and says, well, we can't afford to do that. But you can't let fear be, holding you back or holding you to this. Well, they'll make the college football playoff. 12 teams, sure, what the hell? Yep. And that might seem, and it could go back to our earlier point, that might seem good enough for them, good enough for their boosters. And really, if it's good enough for their boosters and the money keeps rolling in to where they do that Beaver Stadium Tunnel Club edition and they're able to land guys like Drew Aller, all right, they're just stuck in a college football okayness. Fine.
That seems to be, you think about what they were. We talk about Texas and Oklahoma heading in to the SEC and Oregon and USC and UCLA, Washington headed into the Big Ten. When Penn State came into the Big Ten, they were a powerhouse. And they went undefeated in 94. But they were not that far removed from a national championship. They were consistently a top 10 team. You were getting a powerhouse. Them coming into the Big Ten around the same time that Florida State came in to the ACC, and Florida State went into the ACC and then won national titles and played for them. Penn State hasn't done that. They probably got jobbed in 94. They probably deserved a share of that thing when they went undefeated. But they haven't really been too close since. In Franklin's tenure, and you're talking about, he's into it now, kids. He's gone 7-6, 7-6, 11-3, 11-2, 9-4, 11-2, 4-5, 7-6. How did he survive that? How did he survive 11-11 in 21-20? It had to just be because of pandemic. He did come out of that. He goes 11-2 with McSorley in 2022, and then last year 10-3 with Drew Aller. The one thing that they were always missing, they had everything else. They had the receiving talent. They had the defensive talent. Offensive line was awesome. Usually the running backs are pretty good. They just have not had that blue chip stud quarterback. They recruited one in Justin Fields. He ends up going to Georgia and then eventually Ohio State. He was committed there first. Drew Aller from Medina High School was that kid. He started last year. My perception of Aller was in many ways drugged down by the way he played against Ohio State. But when you talk to the guys at PFF, when you talk to people around the program, what you get consistently is Aller was a lot better last year than those of us who pay attention mostly to the Buckeyes were led to believe. That he's actually a much better quarterback, and that, in fact, Franklin was not asking him to do much. So they go for a change. There will be a new play caller. Mike Yurcich is out, and a new play caller into place at Penn State. Around him is a ton of talent. They still have both of those backs back. Singleton's there. Katron Allen is there. They are not great at receiver. They need Julian Fleming to really be a dude. That's kind of the one thing that you look at them and you say, okay, who... There are not guys at the receiver position who you say that's a dude. Fleming was pretty good here, but I don't know if he's a guy who you would say is an absolute dude. But every other level, they're good. They're good at DN. They're good at linebacker. They're good at safety. They were pretty good in the portal. They buoyed their offensive line, buoyed their secondary with A.J. Harris out of Georgia. Their schedule is pretty robust. They open at West Virginia, which is a tricky game. They got UCLA in the first month. They go at USC in early October. At Wisconsin, they get Ohio State. Of course, they host the Buckeyes on November 2nd. They do not play Michigan this year. So that's already cycled off the schedule. And in the future, the Buckeyes will as well. To me, it would feel like if they do not make the college football playoff, and if they don't maybe even host a game, I think that would be a disappointment, but my hunch is over there, if they make the playoff, they'll be happy.
Yeah. The only way that there would be concern or there would be any sort of thing other than, hey, things are good and we're walking, would be for them to miss out on the college football playoff. And the schedule you just read doesn't make it seem like that'll be the case so long as they get improved quarterback play. But Well, with my two eyes, I saw a quarterback that was fine, was in situations, but Franklin's not asking him to do much because maybe Franklin doesn't have the faith that he can do too much. Then I look at Jim Harbaugh and looked at the things that he asked, J.J. McCarthy to do, and it's like he put his faith in that quarterback, and the quarterback repaid that faith. Can James Franklin do the same for Allard?
History would say no.
Right.
History would say no.
I have a bad feeling about this season for Drew Allard.
Yeah. I think if I'm a Penn State person, if this team isn't 10-2, 9-3 at the worst, I got a lot of questions that need answered because they've got a lot of things to like, and the schedule isn't terrible. I think that at West Virginia on August 31st is a little tricky, and obviously they'll have a tough time beating the Buckeyes. But other than that, it's navigable. It's there for them. It's just a matter of can they actually do it, and will they hold themselves to the same standard that, by God, we all hold them to. We'll hit Penn State in the categories coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Erectile dysfunction is a destroyer of your confidence, of your joy and intimacy, and often it can even harm your relationship. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, the leading men's sexual health practice in our area for treating erectile dysfunction. And I want you to know today that if you're like most men, you can be free of ED and all the impacts it has on your life. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're your local provider for dealing with men's sexual health issues. Our expert medical teams are focused on treating ED, and we have highly effective treatment plans with some protocols that work in well over 90% of cases. We can even combine treatments for greater efficacy, all of which means it's very likely you'll be having great sex again within just a day or two of your first appointment. You might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have two convenient locations, just off 270 in Hilliard and near the Medical Mile in Westerville.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. I was in my Lexus the other day. It was hot as hell, but I was so thankful for my ventilated seats. I'm not saying that's why you should buy one. It's just very nice. Right now at Jermaine Lexus, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales Event with lease payments as low as $499 a month and 3.99% financing on select models. Get this, the RZ is 0%. I have been a Jermaine customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Jermaine Lexus, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Who are the people that serve part-time in the Ohio Army National Guard? We are your neighbors and friends. We are your sons and daughters. Our service is providing us valuable job skills, and it pays up to 100% of our tuition. We're proud to serve our state. We are your Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with the Ohio Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard. Aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand. Listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. As you know, I am a world-renowned inventor. So you keep telling me. The royalties alone on that little plastic table I invented to put in pizza boxes, more than you can imagine.
And yet you come into the office here at Eco every day when you're supposed to be a silent partner.
Get Eco.
Because, Aaron, I think we should do a better job of telling people all the ways the word eco stands for everything we do.
I'm pretty sure people can figure it out.
Economical, ecological, eco-ountable, eco-accommodating.
Is there a spelling requirement to be an inventor? I mean, I barely graduated, and I can spell those words better.
Get Eco.
When people get Eco to help with their plumbing, electrical, air conditioning, they get all that. Innovative, modern, practical solutions from highly trained plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
It's all right there in the name.
It is all right there in the name.
Get Eco.
GetEco.com.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Manny Chopra, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy.
Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it's important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value and have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, and are bound by the highest ethical standards. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, please visit oda.org.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, looking at a blend of sun and clouds, hot and humid with a heat index between 95 and 97 degrees. Showers and storms possible between about 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tonight, look for partly cloudy skies, lows in the low 70s. Another hot and humid day tomorrow with a high of 93. You can expect a few showers and storms on your Thursday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And my friends out there, low testosterone causes a host of problems, includes low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and more. Many men just attribute these symptoms to aging and don't consider there are medical treatments and give them back their vigor and vibrancy. If you're feeling like this, and I was, it's time for you to get treated for that low T and change your life. And my friends at Tri-State Men's Health can help you. They are experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. They successfully treated many men for low T, and men have seen amazing differences that those treatments can make in their life. I am one of them. If you're like me and many of the men out there who are suffering from low T, within just a few weeks, you're going to feel that energy return. The brain fog's going to go away. Your sleep will improve. So will your workouts. Your sex drive will be significantly enhanced as well. So here's what you do. Go to TriStateMen'sHealth.com. Take the low T quiz on the website. If the symptoms apply to you, schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health. They're going to do your lab work. They'll have your results in about 30 minutes. The cost of that appointment is $99. Includes the consult, the TNPSA test. If you are medically advised to get treatment, that cost is free. Give them a call today, 800-900-964. Visit TriStateMen'sHealth.com today. Tri-State has 6 locations in the Tri-State area, including 2 here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard, and near Medical Mile in Westerville as well. All right, time for the categories on the Nittany Lions. All right, not bad. Number 1 out of the gates for us, gentlemen. Modern football grade out of the Nittany Lions portal, NIL, and how do they recruit it?
What's an average?
C?
Give them a C+. I think there is enthusiasm from their name, image, and likeness collective. I think that Beaver Stadium Tunnel Club thing will be wildly successful. Pretty passionate fan base. Their need was wide receiver. They needed that in the portal. They went out and got it. They were able to land a 5-star quarterback in Drew Aller. So it's a little above average.
I think it's just a C. I think it is exactly average. Recruiting for the 2025 class right now, they're ranked 16th, but their top recruit is rated 112th nationally, an average player rating of 89.76, 0 5-stars in the 2025 class. Last year, they were just 14th. They only had 2 top 100 players in that class. In the portal this year, 6 in, 13 out. Now, Julian Fleming and A.J. Harris are both pretty good players, but in their NIL, I don't know how great it's doing, because in this 2025 class, I know they had a top 50 recruit and a top 70 recruit that have both flipped. So I've got them at just average.
I think they're actually below average for what they should be. My perception of what they should be versus what they are is probably a D. They're probably a C when it comes to everything you just described, Bake, is average for a big-time program. That's all average. So I think by definition, they're probably a C, but I think they're actually wildly underachieving. I think there's more to sell there, and I think Franklin's holding them back. Do they have, which we'll get to this one, do they have the right coach grade, Reese?
It's a C. It's fine. Yeah, you like winning 9-10 games a season. You like showing up and having a good overall year, but if you aspire to beat an Ohio State, if you aspire to beat Michigan, if you aspire to beat the top team in your conference, you're going to need to do a little better than James Franklin, because we've got enough of a sample size to let you know that James Franklin ain't the guy.
I'm going D on this one because of what you said last time, Bo. They should be better. They shouldn't be 10-3 and losing to Ohio State and Michigan every year. They should get one of those two every now and then.
I'm just going to throw a name at you guys, and then you tell me how much better off the program would be. And this guy was linked there a lot. Greg Schiano. If Greg Schiano is the head coach at Penn State, have you seen what he's doing at Rutgers? Like how he's recruiting at Rutgers. If he had the Penn State arsenal and his familiarity with the program, I think they'd be going. I don't think it would take long. I think it's an F. I don't think Franklin is a total. I don't think he totally sucks. I don't think that at all. I just think it's run its course. They kind of are what they are under him. They've reached the pinnacle of it. To me, there's no way they're going to scale the mountain higher with Franklin than they have already. Yeah, next time he says, I'm interested in this job, I'd say, take it. Go ahead.
He's not a bad coach. He's just not an upper echelon guy.
You can do better. I think if you just can aspire to be more. Uniform grade at Penn State, Reese.
Oh, it's an A. That's a traditional college football uniform that hasn't changed in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And it remains great.
It is a traditional uniform, one that you know for sure. I'm going B, though, just because it's so plain.
I think it's an A, too. I really love I think when they wear, it's cool when they wear the numbers on the helmets and they just put the gray face mask on it. Like they have that throwback, looks really clean. I also think their home blue over white with the black shoes, no names, that whole bit is all really clean. I think it works for them, and I think that shade of blue is the way it hits on those uniforms under the lights is really cool. The boys were asking me because obviously we played them on the video game, and they were like, "Well, Dad, it was in the video game. It's a whiteout game. The Ohio State game's a whiteout game in the video game." And the boys are saying, "Well, I was picking the Ohio State uniforms." He's like, "Well, don't we have to wear red on the road?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, why don't they wear white in the whiteout?" Good question. I don't know why they don't, because if ever there was a time, you think that would be it, but they don't. Coolest to play there, grade.
I wanted to say Saquon. Paul Puzlesny looked like a linebacker. You played at linebacker U, so that was always really cool for me as a kid.
When you're talking linebacker U, there's only one guy though. It's number 11, LeVar Arrington.
So you could have gone Jack Ham. You could have gone a lot of different ways there. Micah Parsons looked pretty damn cool there, too. But I think you're right. It's LeVar Arrington. And for the kids out there, Google so LeVar good. Arrington, Penn State.
So good.
He was unbelievable. Courtney Brown was on that defense, too. They were just beasts. And the idea of a linebacker running around wearing 11, looking as cool as he did. He had a visor, too, didn't he, Bake?
I believe
pretty sure he visored up.
They were popular then.
Yeah, he had it rolling. Would they make Lance Harper's Final Five grade, Reese?
No, they would not. That hat's not anywhere near that table.
No.
Yeah, that's a sweep, right?
No. Who did you guys have? Georgia would make his Final Five.
Yes.
Did you guys have Ole Miss making his Final Five or no?
No.
Okay, so just Georgia. What about Clemson?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. Well, because there's lineage there with Texas quarterbacks.
But he's going to Texas.
Feels like it. Yeah. Feels like he's going to Texas or Ohio State right now, the way it all is shaking out with those programs. And that maybe speaks to Penn State. I mean, that's why they need Aller to hit in the biggest way possible, because they finally landed their 5-star quarterback. He's better. Everybody we talked to says he's better than what we perceived him to be, and now maybe he can take another step. Win it all, playoff or chumps. What do you got for the Nittanies?
If it can hit with Aller, this is a playoff team.
Yeah, I think they should be right there, a fringe playoff team. Could be that third Big Ten team there, so I think it's playoffs.
Third or fourth Big Ten team would have you playing a road game, right, in an SEC environment, is my guess. They feel it. I would say if they don't make the playoff, then you have to reconsider everything. I would think. At that point, you'd have to sit down with Franklin and just say, hey, because they're doing all the expansion to Beaver Stadium. The collectives feel like they're finally rowing in the same direction. It's time for him with his quarterback to get to the playoff and then make a little bit of noise once you're there.
They will have that game when they host Ohio State in early November. That game is circled as big as possible. That is Sharpied. That's when they're all pointing towards. This Ohio State team's loaded. They know it. But you've got a quarterback returning. It's time for them to make a little bit of noise, and they've got an opportunity to do so. I think they're a playoff team, too. And I think if they're not, then serious questions need to be asked about Franklin and his program. Rich Scarcella, he's our great friend. He covers this program better than anybody. He joins us coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Ready. This Ohio State football training camp report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Weber Grills.
Ohio State football. Training camp report.
This report is brought to you by Safe Light Auto Glass and by Bob's Discount Furniture. As camp gets set to open tomorrow, a lot of attention will be on the Ohio State offense with a new offensive coordinator with plenty of experience. Here's analyst Jim Lachey.
Probably the number one hire there would be Chip Kelly, a former head coach, not only at the college level. We've known him from his days at Oregon, but now he had a couple of years in the NFL there with the Eagles and the 49ers, went back to UCLA. And the ironic thing is that, he's got such a great relationship with Ryan Day. And, as we heard him talk about throughout the spring, he just wanted to coach a position and be in charge of one side of the ball. He kind of missed that. And, that was a coup to get him to come here to Ohio State. And, to have Ryan Day now can just be that CEO. So having a Chip Kelly running this offense, I'm excited to see what they can do because I always, I think we all liked watching what he did at Oregon, with the multiple backs, moving guys around, the screen game that he had, all different type of running type of formations and things like that. So I was impressed with his work.
We'll hear from Coach Day on Kelly next.
At Bob's Discount Furniture, when you find a complete dining set that seats 6 and comes with an extendable leaf for only $5.99.
Oh my, Bob.
And a sofa that doubles as a chaise and a bed and storage like my Playscape for only $9.99.
Oh my, Bob.
And a queen mattress with world-famous Bobapedic memory foam and an 18-year warranty like my Treasure for only $7.99.
Oh my, Bob.
Well, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my, Bob.
Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safe Light Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelight.com. Safe Light Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
It was big news when Ryan Day hired Chip Kelly to come in to be his offensive coordinator. Coach Day on turning the keys over to his former boss.
For me, turning it over, I really wanted to have somebody that, had head coaching experience. Now, never thought that, you'd have somebody that was a head coach the way he has been in college and in the NFL and that background. And so it allows me a little, more of a peace of mind and certainly a lot of trust there. I mean, I trust Chip with my life, and that's a big part of anytime you're handing something over like that you've done, your almost your entire career.
Training camp begins tomorrow. We'll have another report for you then. I'm Skip Mossick on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
The drums bang, the flame sparks, the trumpets blow, the hot dogs sizzle, the crowd cheers, the fans eat. The sounds of Buckeye football are synonymous with the best damn band in the land in the stadium and the Weber Grills outside the stadium. Weber is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. To celebrate another season, Weber is launching a limited edition Ohio State grill, inspired by our Buckeye helmets. Get the best damn grill in the land at Ohio area retailers near you ahead of the football season.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. I just scored some new windows from Window Nation. What an amazing difference. Can't wait to start saving on those energy bills. Right now, they have an incredible offer just for Ohio State fans. Receive 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Plus, put 0 down, make 0 payments with 0% interest for 2 years. Watch your Buckeyes in comfort this season with new windows from Window Nation. Call today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
As a local family-owned and operated company, Newman Roofing takes great pride in providing great customer experience and quality product to every job they do. From the first phone call to the end of your project, they'll know who you are. Don't just get a roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. If you are retired or in the planning stages, we can help you maximize your income. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. Time to head out on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline for a great friend of the program and 20 most interesting centers on the Penn State Nittany Lions. And when we talk about the Nittany Lions, we like to do so with our good buddy Rich Scarcella. He covers the Nittany's at the Reading Eagle. He joins us. Rich, thank you so much for taking the time. I guess let's start here, because one of the things that we've seen here with this Ohio State program is almost like this whole offseason it's been like, okay, fine. This is what college football is going to be. Watch us be as big as we can be. Watch us spend, watch us recruit, watch us be aggressive. What have you seen from Penn State now that we're a couple of seasons into NIL, portal, all of it? Are they as aggressive as the fan base wants them to be?
I don't think they're as aggressive as they want to be. I think they've been aggressive in the portal. They brought in 2 cornerbacks from the Southeastern Conference, Jalen Kimber from Florida, A.J. Harris from Georgia. But I think if they were honest, if Penn State officials, including James Franklin, were honest, they would like to see the NIL money be even more. They want to be even more aggressive because they know they're competing with Ohio State, but they're still playing catch up with Ohio State.
Rich, is there money there that they feel like is untapped? That's one thing that happened. They mobilized their money here this offseason. They mobilized it. Like, is there money there that is untapped that can go in that direction? And is Franklin the guy to untap it?
That's 2 great questions, Bo. I think I'm not sure. It's hard to say there's untapped money there. I mean, they can go to Terry Pagula, who owns the Buffalo Bills and has his name on the Pagula Ice Arena, but they've gone to him a lot. I mean, I'm talking about Penn State as a whole. Mm-hmm. And I think they're a little reluctant to keep hitting him, but I mean, they want to do a good job. They just haven't been able to. They haven't been able to be on the level of Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama and so on. But I think, is James Franklin the person to head that? I think so. I think it's possible because he does well in recruiting. He does have a very positive and upbeat personality. But are people right now, are they waiting to see them do more in order to, invest more in this program?
It's kind of the chicken before the egg, isn't it? Right? Like, can he do, you know what I mean? You show us you can do it, and then we'll give you the money. But on the other side, he's saying, if you give me the money, I can show you I can do it.
Right, exactly. I mean, they're right there, as you know. I don't have to tell you this, but they're like right there. And it's a moot point. But if there was a 12-team playoff since 2016, Penn State would have been in it 4 times. But there wasn't. That's the way it was. That's the way it worked. So now you have a 12-team playoff, and in terms of expectations, there's no doubt the bottom line is they have to get in the playoff. I don't think that's overstating it. But I think even James Franklin last week at the Big Ten Media Day said we want to do more than just make the playoff. We want to advance. We want to get. We'd love to get a bye. Well, no kidding. Everybody would. But are they in place to do that? We'll see. I mean, I think they're still short in a couple areas.
And we'll get to that. This is a new change. It's a new direction, too, for Penn State in that obviously Michigan on the schedule this year. Ohio State's going to go off the schedule in a couple of years. So, it's unrivaled and it's all of that. From what I understand on my end, when I talk to Ohio State people, they put Michigan and Penn State as the two teams they wanted to play every year, and that Penn State didn't acquiesce to that and was not wanting to play the Buckeyes every year. So this is a new change for them to go in a different direction, and I suppose that 12-team playoff is the lifeline that would be the payoff for it.
Right. I mean, if you look at Penn State's schedule, I mean, they're playing Ohio State, yes. They're not playing Oregon. They're not playing Michigan. They're not playing Iowa. They're playing USC and Wisconsin. So basically, they're of the 5 teams, the top, widely considered the top 5 contenders. They're one of them, but they're only playing one of the other 4. Yeah. I think this schedule is very conducive to making the playoff and, maybe even reach the Big Ten championship game, even with a loss to Ohio State. But we'll see. Things have to play out. We'll get to the personnel and the changes on the coaching staff. But I think the schedule is favorable for sure.
Rich, was Drew Aller better than people realize a year ago?
Yes, I believe so. I do. Yeah. I know there are a lot of people out there who don't believe that, but it's pretty hard to say a first-year starting quarterback, regardless of his recruiting star rating, throws 25 touchdown passes with just 2 interceptions. That doesn't happen by accident. The problem with Penn State, and everybody knows this, the wide receivers were not very good, and that's a problem going into this year. They don't have a deep threat. They still don't. They have guys who can catch the ball, short routes, intermediate routes, but they don't have a deep threat, and that's the biggest issue for them this year. And I think that he wasn't – I believe he was told not to throw the ball, to risk a lot of interceptions because of how good the defense was. But when you come to play Ohio State and Michigan, you've got to be able to use the whole field, even against 2 of the top defenses in the country. And you saw what happened in those 2 games.
Yeah, you look at everything else around him. I mean, Allen and Singleton back again. Obviously, a guy in Julian Fleming, who we know well, who transferred in, but that lack of home run hitters. So then if they did not get that addressed, they did address who's going to be calling the plays and the offensive scheme going forward with the change of coordinator. What have you seen so far through spring camp, and what have you gathered just talking to people about what will be the biggest difference?
Well, Paul, we haven't seen anything. Let's just say that in the spring. And this is, you're talking about Andy Kotelnicki, who was the offensive coordinator at Kansas for the last 3 years and has been with Lance Leopold for over a dozen years. I think everything that I hear is that he's creative, he's innovative, and he's going to make a difference. Again, heard the same thing 3 years ago about Mike Yurcich, who James Franklin had wanted to hire for a long time. It didn't work out for whatever reason, but it didn't work out. So let's see. But the difference between Kotelnicki and Yurcich, Kotelnicki is a far more personable guy who it seems that the players have embraced, especially the quarterbacks and the offensive players. And, we'll see if he makes a difference.
Outside of the quarterback and the new offense, and I mentioned some of the skill guys, some new offensive linemen, obviously, where are the points of concern on this Nittany Lions roster?
Well, I think the 3 areas of concern, or if you want to put it that way, wide receivers are obviously number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 to me is the offensive line, only because they lost 3 starters, all NFL draft picks. They have talent on the offensive line. They have a 6th-year guy who I wrote about today, and the entire offensive line, Sal Wormley. He's going to be right guard. He's going into his 3rd or 4th year as a starter. Gosh, that's true. And then the rest of the line, the biggest question mark is right tackle. Right tackle, where Caden Wallace played last year, it's up in the air, and it looks like Nolan Rucci a Pennsylvania high school star who went to Wisconsin, transferred in January, and a redshirt freshman named Anthony Donko. They're competing. But it wouldn't surprise me if J.B. Nelson, who started 7 or 8 games last year at guard, is moved over to right tackle. That's going to be something to watch during camp.
Hey, Rich, are you guys getting any open practices over there? I'm just curious. In the fall.
Well, today, no, we're not getting any. I mean, we get to see 10 or 15 minutes on a Wednesday, and that's it. And like today is the first day. It's going to be open for 10 or 15 minutes for video and still cameras, and that's it. And then you're gone. So you can't draw any conclusions from what you see.
So this is an example, I think, of what Ohio State, how they've pivoted, and I'm curious if other Big Ten teams will do it. So the next 4 days, practices here are open. So they're charging fans, I think it's like $50, $100, $200, something like that, to come in and watch, and they cap the amount of people who can go, but obviously they've sold that out. So in order to make that money, and that money goes to NIL, in order to make that money, they got to open it up to all of us. So we're going to get to see 4 full practices at Ohio State over the next 4 days. But the reason for it is Ohio State is mobilizing their NIL in doing so. And I'm curious how other programs start to follow that line of logic.
Penn State did, now that I remember, did open it up for one practice, but it was, it was kind of generic and vanilla stuff. And I'm trying to think when exactly it was in camp last year. It was kind of in the middle.
Okay.
And it was at the regular practice field. So is Ohio State doing it inside the Horseshoe?
No, they're outside at the practice fields, but they're having fans.
Okay.
They're charging fans, and we're headed for an NFL model, right? And so that's what this feels like. It feels like Browns camp or Eagles camp. Like, hey, come in and watch. You pay a little money, and we'll make some money on the side. It's where we're headed, buddy.
Yeah. That's a good thing. I mean, the more the more we can see in the media, the better.
I agree. Always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. I can't thank you enough for your time.
Well, anytime. My pleasure. Thanks.
All right, that's the great Rich Scarcella. Covers Penn State at the Reading Eagle on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Officially endorsed, and 3 things coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Ah, the sounds of back-to-school time. There's plenty to about this time of year, so let Cane's take something off your plate by putting something on it, like hand-battered chicken fingers and cane sauce.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Are your feet stopping you from being active and making it difficult to get healthier? Trade in your bad feet and start the new year with good feet and get healthy in 2024. Wouldn't it be nice to work, walk, and play pain-free again?
Is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things that you love? Bone-on-bone pain in your knee? Arthritic pain like I was having in my knee? Maybe your hip, your back, your shoulder? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Listen, there are exciting new cellular therapies that you can get lasting relief from. QC Kinetics is helping patients like you every day here in Columbus, led by Dr. Ray Tesner. I'm talking about cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. Listen, my dad was having knee pain. I was having knee pain. So we went over to QC Kinetics, and they were able to help us out. And 2 years out, I'm still feeling good. My dad can still move around. So learn how QC Kinetics can treat pain and enhance your joints and restore your mobility and give you long-term lasting relief with no downtime. So check them out. Go to 380-208-4544 or head to one of their offices in Dublin, Gehenna, or now the new one that's most recently opened in Grove City.
Ignite your Irish spirit at the Dublin Irish Festival, August 2nd through 4th. Prepare to be blown away as you explore one of the top Irish festivals in the US, drawing over 100,000 guests to Dublin, Ohio each year. Enjoy 7 music stages, 60 acts and more than 800 performers, epic Irish entertainment, great food and more. Get your tickets at dublinirishfestival.org.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go.
Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Driving plays a big part in driving the local economy. It helps us all get where we're going and creates good jobs close to home. At Synovus Energy, our refineries in Toledo and Lima are a reliable domestic source of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Plus, more than 2,300 employees and contractors work for us here in Ohio. See how we're helping local communities move forward at Synovus.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do you have on the poll?
Daily Fan Poll asks, what is your favorite food at the Ohio State Fair? Corn dog, French fries with vinegar, funnel cakes, candy, caramel, apple are your options. 33% of you say French fries with vinegar. 42% say the funnel cake. 23% say corn dog. And just 1% say the candy caramel apple.
I got to go corn dog on that.
Well, it's Ohio State Fair. There's no deep fried Oreo option here?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, this is what we do, right?
What are we doing?
We got to get that done. There's got to be something deep fried that we got to do.
I mean, the funnel cake, but
Yeah. All right, time for your officially endorsed here on this fine First Friday.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday. Officially endorsed because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
Sponsored by Sugar Shannara Accident Attorneys. We go to war for you at warforyou.com. That's warforyou.com.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
This week's officially endorsed is more of an experience. So I was in Boston on Saturday, and I saw the Sam Adams Tap Room in Boston, which is right across from Fennelly Hall. So I went in and ordered a Sam Adams, and I was drinking the Sam Adams across from the building where he held meetings to fend off and eventually fight the British while looking at a statue of Sam Adams. And I thought, that's pretty damn patriotic. And I'll tell you, that Sam Adams tasted pretty damn good. So if you're in that position and you find yourself in Boston, which is a great town, and you can have one of those, that is your officially endorsed experience on this fine First Friday. Time for 3 things. Hit it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number 1 for me, everything went largely smooth on the travel, with one exception. So we were scheduled to fly out last Wednesday at 6:08 a.m. So that's 4:30 a.m. wake up. That's an early morning for the kids. We were delayed, and eventually the pilot gets on the mic and says the reason we're delayed is his co-pilot left his ID in the hotel room. So immediately I think, well, there's got to be another way. Like, don't we have a retina scanner? Like, he's got to physically have his ID before we can fly this plane? No, he had to physically have the ID. It ended up being delayed an hour and 45 minutes. We just sat on the plane waiting to take off because the co-pilot left his ID at the hotel. Now it was a direct flight, obviously, so it wasn't too big of a deal. But the notion of when we landed, the co-pilot was nowhere to be seen. Like, he was gone. He did not want to face the wrath for leaving his ID in the hotel.
First thing for me, so they got the Olympic triathlon done today in the River Seine.
Sure.
However you want to pronounce it. Again, $1.5 billion to clean all the poop out of that river. Aaron on the YouTube chat says the triathlon's 1.5-kilometer swim, 40-kilometer bike, 10K run. The men's was won by Great Britain's Alex Yee in an hour and 45 minutes. Someone from France won it in an hour and 54 from the women's side.
There you go.
First thing for me, how about Jake Diebler rounding out this Ohio State roster for the year? 2 days ago, they get Quez Glover, a transfer from Kansas State who had also spent time at Florida and Samford. Not only do they get him, but they get him to walk on, pay his scholarship with the NIL money so they can get big Ivan Yagovin from Croatia. He's 7'1", averaged 8.2 points a game last year in Croatia's top league, 5 rebounds. He also shot over 50% and maybe more importantly was over 30% from 3. Good job, Jake Diebler.
Him and Bradshaw, that's a lot of size on that front line. Number 2 for me, we did Sunday morning, we were in Boston and the boys led the hoops. I'm like, well, let's go to the Hoops Hall of Fame in Springfield, Mass. I'd never been there before, so it was about hour, 45 minutes depending on traffic over there. I would tell you that, like, the boys had a fine time, but it ain't Canton, man. It ain't Canton by a damn stretch. Like, it was really disorganized. Like, they kind of put it was kind of like basketball, like, vomit. It was like, here's all the basketball, but it wasn't organized well. It wasn't like, here's a college wing, here's a WNBA ring, here's an NBA wing. It was really disorganized. The only thing that was cool is it's shaped like a cylinder, and in the middle of it is a basketball court, and you can shoot on everything from a peach basket to an NBA rim, so that was pretty cool, but the store absolutely sucked. Think about this with my kids. They walked down to that store without getting anything. That's impossible for my kids.
And they didn't ask for anything.
They didn't ask for anything.
Wow.
They're like, nothing. That's crazy.
Something that was organized really well was Monday's Fan Golf Classic. So props to Scotty and the promotions department there. You, right now, if you weren't able to or haven't, you can help the Fan tackle cancer by bidding on incredible items from the 971 The Fan Golf Classic charity auction. Auction includes items like a behind-the-scenes tour of the 2025 Memorial Tournament, Ohio State football tickets, special bourbon packages, autographed memorabilia, and tons more. Auctions open now through Sunday at 5 p.m. You can check out the auction and help raise money for cancer research at 971thefan.com.
So earlier, the Olympics were on here in the studio, and it was some women's volleyball, USA and France. You want to get me interested in the Olympics? I need more Snoop Dogg decked out in USA gear, cheering on Team USA like he was earlier. That might catch my attention.
He's on every night. Like, they do something with him every night in the prime time, and some of it hits. He's usually pretty damn funny. My good, close personal friend, Mr. Dog. Number 3 for me, Maine's pretty great. It's really great. It's cool. The water's great. I understand why the Bushes went up there for all those years. Highly recommend it. If you're thinking about Maine, it's worth the drive. It's worth the flight.
Last thing from me out of the corrections department, I misspoke at the beginning of the show and I said the Guardians acquired a farm arm. No, they sent the farm arm to San Francisco, plus a player to be named later for Alex Cobb. The 36-year-old right-hander missed the beginning of the season because of hip surgery, hurt his shoulder, then he popped a blister. So hopefully in the next week or so you can see him in Columbus before he makes his trip to Cleveland, and that can shore up a starting rotation that can really make a run of this. Look, Jose Ramirez didn't take that hometown discount, so you could sit on your hands at the deadline. Nope. Looks like the Guardians did not do that.
Real quick, Rothman and Ice coming up next. Both Matty Ice and ARN. A lot of NFL talk with Adam Schefter and Brendan Deeg of The Score.
You have that to look forward to, which is very, very nice. We're live at Buckeye Camp tomorrow. Enjoy your first Friday. Act accordingly, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. is a fan action update.
Big Ten action update. The Nebraska Cornhuskers are tied for the 7th best odds to win the Big Ten this year at 65-1. Tied with Washington. The Cornhuskers season win totals at 7.5 games. Nebraska's non-conference schedule includes games against UTEP, Colorado, and Northern Iowa. Week 1, Nebraska's a 27.5-point favorite over UTEP. For your action update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
Are you ready to turn your passion for media into a career? Ohio Media School is the place for you. With hands-on training in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and digital media, you'll gain the skills and experience you need to succeed. Don't wait. Classes are starting soon. Visit beonair.com and take the free assessment to get started. Enroll today and take the first step towards your dream career. Ohio Media School. Your future in media starts here. Visit beonair.com. beonair.com. Enroll now.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Don't settle for ordinary this summer when adventure awaits. Make memories that will last forever only at your Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, Central Ohio's family destination for fun. Plan your perfect summer trip at columbuszoo.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes